Oh, hello there. What's going on? Yeah, we're back once again. I know you fucking hate it, but, just have to get on with it, won't you? It's absolutely fine. It's just not cricket. So why is it not cricket? Is it golf? Why is it just cricket? Can't it be bowling? It's such a weird thing to say in the old British language. But we are here today to bring you the 88th edition of the Chronicles of Podcast, aren't we, Jamie? Is that right? 88?
Oh, yeah, 88!
Yeah. 12 away from 100. Absolutely insane. I do believe that even though it's not cricket or golf or whatever sport you want to make sure it's not, that these right here, the Chronicles of Faith Elizabeth,
Yeah, they are.
absolutely wonderful. Well, I'll hit it. Hit it!
This is Ron Wasserman, the nut that wrote Go-Go Power Rangers.
It's Boba Fett here.
This is Molly Rennick from Living Dead Girl.
Hi, I'm Faith Elizabeth. I am an actress and director and apparently do it all. And I am on the Chronicles of Podcast today with Tom and Jamie, talking shit and hopefully saying some good things that are going to sit in your heart and change your life.
Weirdly uncomfortable.
I'm not expecting to go to a show the entire time, am I?
And he's going to be that well known for it, we're going to name him after sperm. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 88th edition of the Chronicles of Podcast. And these, are the Chronicles of Faith Elizabeth. This is I, the bearded brummy Jamie, and joining me, as always, is this handsome bugger right here.
Well, Scotsman Tom, I'm trying to wonder why you sound part of your world.
Hey, you got it.
Is it from the Little Mermaid?
It is. It's part of the world from the Little Mermaid. Because this week's guest has portrayed a mermaid in a movie, and it was the closest thing I could tie it to a song.
Oh, fair. Okay. Obviously, the Little Mermaid actually came out, didn't it, on Friday? So the live action remake for people that are interested in going checking that out.
I'm not.
No, neither am I. Jamie, you know how as Brits and Americans, when pissed off, or maybe not so much now, because a lot of people just go, fuck off, shit off, you fucking bollocks, you twatted. But like back in the day, so back in the 90s, when people would have won an argument, say, and that person would be leaving, you go, sayonara, arrivederci, auf Wiedersehen, bye. Then we used to do all the random goodbyes in all the different languages. Yeah?
I do vaguely remember this, yes.
Okay.
We were sassy bitches.
Do you ever wonder if other countries do it?
Oh, could you imagine?
Like, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen, arrivederci, goodbye, you prick, adios. And you got some random Italians going, arrivederci, auf Wiedersehen, au revoir, adios, goodbye.
Just the idea of a foreign person using the English language to be a sassy bitch is really funny to me for some reason.
But then randomly, it'd be all the European languages, and randomly Japanese. Sayonara.
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah. So could you imagine a Japanese person doing it? Like, yeah, exactly, prick.
As soon as you said, can you imagine? I was like, please do an impression. Please do an impression. You never let me down.
That's not meant to offend any Japanese people listen to this. I have no idea of your wonderful cultural language. I was just merely being a twatty Brit. So I found, my hatred for spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes. You know how much I love to correct.
No, I had no idea.
No need to be sarcastic. Do you know how much I love to correct? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Annabelle Knight gave me the most delicious piece of information, a bit of gold that really made my day this morning. She shared something she calls hard-hitting questions. Okay. This is genuinely a question that a genuine human being has asked, and I live for stupid people. I live for it. I just live for it. All right. The hard-hitting question we have this week is as follows. Can pregnant women go swimming. Okay? This is what this gentleman was asking. I'm a man, so I do not know. It is possible for pregnant women to go swimming without unintentionally drowning the baby. How can the baby breathe if the vagina is underwater? Should the woman keep the vagina above water so the baby can breathe through the vagina? Genuine question that was genuinely asked today. So what you're expecting is then, if he expects the woman to keep their vagina above water, they're either going to swim like a pyramid, yeah, or they're going to swim upside down with their legs in the air, which would be incredibly difficult. You just go down. So you're literally going to swim like said pyramid with obviously no bottom. It's just I mean.
How has this person functioned in life, for one? And two, has he never heard the expression, water's breaking?
Exactly.
They're already in water, mate. Like, what the fuck? Jesus Christ.
They've never breathed air. They haven't breathed air yet.
Jesus. Fucking.
I'm surprised that person's not dead yet. To be quite honest, because how have you got through life is amazing to me.
I'm not a woman, so I'm not really 100% sure. But surely you are a functioning member of society and have some common sense, you prat.
I love it. I just love it. Massive shout to that person. Absolutely incredible.
A massive shout to former guest Annabelle Knight for making your day.
Oh yeah, it was great. It was so great. And finally, a conversation topic I really want to bring up. Right, you know, I love for the house is haunted, psychics, and that sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
When people say that this so and so or somewhere is haunted, who said it? Who said it was haunted? Have you proven this? Is there a fact to say this place is haunted? How have you proven the fact that it's haunted? Because maybe a window slammed shut or something. Oh my God, that's Derek. Derek used to live here in 1492.
Really
I reckon somebody else in that house has gone elsewhere into the house and is going, get out, you pricks. Why is it ghost called pricks? I mean, you bastards. Like, this is my house.
That's a guy whose wife's had her friends around and he really wants them out the fucking house. So he's just causing shit to make them think there's a ghost and they'll leave.
It's when mediums go to these supposed haunted houses and then they bring this crew with them. There's obviously one of the cameramen's like, where's John gone? Where's John? Oh, he couldn't make it today. His wife was making some delicious sandwiches and he went to enjoy those instead. So he is not here today. Because his wife makes really, really delicious sandwiches. And then John's the fucking prick that's at the stairs going, oh, God. And he's like stomping on the stairs. And I was going, what the fuck's that? Yeah.
I hate that shit so much. It's so damn fake. It drives me mad.
So I'd really like to know who told you it was haunted. Who are these experts that apparently told you that was haunted? Because I'd really love to meet them. I'd be like, oh, so how did you find out? How did you know that they were haunted? Please inform me. Give me said proof, and then maybe I'll start believing that sort of shit. But as for now, I don't. So...
I saw them at the top of my staircase. Granted, it was 2 a.m. I just woke up. My vision was a bit blurry, but I swear there was a person there.
Yeah, it might have been a towel. I'm not really sure, to be honest. It was 2 a.m.
The door closed, and I was the only one home. It was a windy day, but I just couldn't explain it. I don't know. It must have been a ghost. I don't get it.
I put my hand out to close the door. The fucking door shut by itself. Absolutely mental. And I was drying my bed sheet on top of the door. There's a sheet which is flying about the place. Absolutely crazy. It's definitely a ghost, mate.
That's a fucking ghost, that is.
Yeah, Colin, it's definitely a ghost.
I just love those shows. It's like, we've come to this place. It's reportedly haunted. We're going to speak to the spirits. No one talks to them. Every single episode, no one talks to them. Oh, it's not our lucky day. Yeah, because there's no one fucking there, Derek. Go away.
Let me put this random thing that no one's ever heard of on the floor that fluctuates. Isn't that what measures radiology, whatever? I don't know. Radioactive material? No. Is there a nuclear plant by? No. I'm pretty sure by Sunday. I'm pretty sure there's a nuclear power station next door. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. We'll move.
It's a fact these idiots do live shows. They go to places in an arena and then suddenly, how do you make a live show out of that? There's ghosts in here, apparently, but there isn't. Just, I wanted to tell you there was, so you call, but come buy tickets to my show.
Oh God, you took that quite personally, didn't you?
Yeah,
Jesus.
I did. Yeah,
are you all right?
Me and Derek Akora, we got fucking business.
Isn't he out of business now? Isn't he dead?
I don't know. Is he?
He died in 2020.
Did he?
Yeah.
All right. Me and Derek, we had business. It ended in 2020.
Yeah. There we are. Anyway, how are you?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. I'm pretty fucking tired. I don't know why. I'm just really struggling these past few weeks. Just the constant shift changes, and I don't know why I'm really struggling to adjust. I'm just constantly exhausted. But as you like to say, there we are then.
Oh, well, I mean, if you have the kid as well, it probably doesn't help matters. So I have that luxury. So it's great. I mean, it's not a luxury. I don't know why I said that. I have the luxury, should I say, of being able to get it whenever I fucking like. It's great. So
yeah. No, I don't know that luxury. But it's fine. It's fine. He says that while falling asleep, stood up. But it's fine.
You do fall asleep wherever you fucking like. Did that actually happen?
I have fallen asleep, stood up once while I was at work.
What?
When I was at Sainsbury's once, this is years ago, I was at the end of an aisle with a cage, and then I woke up and I was the other end of the aisle. I don't remember getting from A to B.
Have you got narcolepsy? I
did wonder at one point if I did. But...
Have you gone and got that tested?
No. To be fair, it hasn't happened since I lost the weight. I'm a lot better now. I might doze off sometimes because, I'm a human who's tired, but not like I used to.
Okay.
Before, I could be wide awake and she'd be like, hi, I'm loving... Yeah.
That's such a male answer. Oh, I'm fine now. No, I've self-diagnosed. I'm absolutely fine. What's that massive lump on your leg? It's just my other leg. Is that all right? That's definitely a tripod. No, it's definitely not.
But I tell you, one thing I am is feeling pretty nostalgic today because as I posted on Facebook yesterday, it's been a year since the live show. How crazy. How has that been a year already? I couldn't believe it. Absolutely couldn't believe it.
Let me take you back to a couple of episodes ago, Jamie, where we talked about how people get by the fact that time moves on. It's amazing, isn't it?
It is. So, I know how time works. It was a rhetorical question. It just doesn't feel like it's been crazy. A year.
No, I know. It's been mental, actually, to think about what's happened in this period of time since. Just to let you all know, we are working on the Chronicles of Podcast Live 2. It's just not moving as fast as we'd like. So I do apologise to anyone. I know a few of you have been asking about it. So the plans are in place. We're just trying to get shit nailed down and sorted and God knows what else. So just watch this space if you do listen to the show or watch our social media or anything like that, or YouTube. Just watch this space. We are working on it. I promise you. So hoping to get a show done this year. So we shall keep you apprised. But yes, it is nuts that was over a year ago.
It was, and that what a night it was. Oh, so good. I've been thinking about it like the past couple of days, just like how crazy it's been. But like everything that's happened in that year, everything that happened that night, it's just like, wonderful times. But yeah, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm just getting by, I think, more than anything else. It's insanely hot in here. Like I can't get over being 3 stories up. And obviously it's just one wall is pretty much a window. It is insanely difficult to sleep. It's difficult to breathe. Look, no, I'm joking. It's fine. It's just warm. I just hate being a ginger. I can't do a mugginess, and obviously you should attestament to that as well. It's really fucking difficult to just even like. I was going to say procreate for some reason. No idea why that came into my head. That's such a weird. I love the summer. Really fucking difficult to have kids. Because, summertime comes, eggs they just dissolve and evaporate, and they just evaporate into the air because obviously it's too fucking hot in here. No, as a ginger, as soon as the sun touches me, I just melt into a pot. I was cooking, I'm not joking, this is true. I was cooking dinner earlier, I was cooking enchiladas. I literally walked away and was just soaked. Like it is pissing it down inside my flat, but only on me. I was dripping. It was horrible.
I just love the fact you chose, while you're already warm, to have spicy food and a food that you can't help but bring yourself to meat sweats with. If that was a good idea.
It's 100% a good idea. As soon as enchiladas is on the table, as soon as the ingredients are here, I'm like, making enchiladas tonight. Fuck everything else. I'm making enchiladas tonight. All right. I don't give a shit if that's all going out of date tonight. We're having enchiladas tonight. That's literally how it goes. Literally how it goes. So, other than being an absolutely motherfucking tired, how has your week been?
It's been good. I've been pretty busy, to be fair, because I've been doing a lot of Rihanna-ing. I was doing.
That's so bro, mate.
A lot of Rihanna.
I'm really fucking busy, to be fair. Really fucking busy, mate. You wouldn't fucking believe it, bud. Jesus Christ.
I'll own it. It's fine. But yeah, doing a lot of Rihanna-ing as always. I went to IKEA. Haven't been there in a little while. I feel like that shop never ends. Like, you're just like, am I at the end yet? You're only halfway through. Am I at the end now? No, you're still halfway through. You've been here 4 hours. You're still halfway through the store.
You're back at the beginning now.
Yeah, you've gone all the way around. You're like, fuck. But no, went to IKEA and then built said furniture we got for Olivia while we were there. We've done 2 fantastic interviews, which I cannot wait for people to hear. They're absolutely amazing. I brought some more gig tickets since we last spoke.
Jesus Christ. You and your fucking gigs. You can't justify going to see Kiss, but you could go to like 5 other shows.
Well, this is where the plans changed, sir, because I am now going to see Kiss.
Oh.
They went to 2 for 1. How can we turn that down? And plus,
okay.
On the last farewell tour, Becky couldn't go because she wasn't very well.
The 9th one.
Yeah. Becky wasn't very well, so she was like, I really want to go because I missed out last time. It's the last chance to see him. So I was like, come on, let's go. Fuck it. I was like, one deal though, we are getting as close to the front of that damn crowd as possible because it's my last chance to see him. I just want to be there. So yeah. I
can't wait to see 4 70-year-olds fuck around on stage for no reason. I'm so excited. In their shit, I bet the makeup's like terrible because they just can't be asked. It's a final farewell. Fuck it. It's meant to be a star. I'm gonna shit. So make it like a fucking pineapple. I don't care anymore.
I would love to see Paul Stanley with a pineapple instead of a star. And he's like, I'm not gonna lie, it'd be amazing.
It's crazy nights. You know how many crazes there are. Fuck it. Who cares?
He's not really singing it anymore. Anyway, it's fine. And on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, we got tickets to see Seal.
What?
Yeah, Seal. As in
Why?
Kiss from a Rose guy. Yeah.
I know. I'm not expected to go to a show the entire time, am I? Of course, I know who the fucking Seal is.
I'm gonna go see him hold a bowl on his nose.
Jesus Christ!
I couldn't tell. It was a look of confusion. Why Seal or who the fuck Seal? I just wasn't sure.
Who doesn't know who Seal is?
Oh,
Jesus Christ!
Hold on. How did you just sound brummy then? That was so weird. Of course, I know who Seal is. You've been talking to me for way too long.
Yeah, probably. It's like being like, oh, you know who the Spice Girls are, right? No, I have no fucking clue. Yeah. Did they sing single bilingual? What? Pet Shop Boys. Never mind.
Random fucking.
You know, that S Club 4.
That's probably what it is now.
Definitely love 2. What about A5?
Okay, I'm just double checking. All right, Jesus Christ.
What about the Front Road Boys? What about In Synchronization? Fuck me. You know, the Christopher Rose guy. No, Jamie, I had absolutely no fucking clue.
Right,
like that.
Jesus Christ. I was just double checking. Yeah, I'll go to see him, all right? Jesus fucking Christ.
But why? Why? It's such a random person to go and see.
Because 1, he's fucking awesome. And 2, he sang one of our wedding songs. So we thought it'd be pretty cool to go see him.
Okay, that's fine. That's fair. That's fair. If that wasn't an answer, that would have been such a random. Oh, I just really love that Christopher Rose song because it was on Batman. I don't fucking know.
Hey, it was on Batman.
It's just like me turning around going, yeah, I really want to see Jerry Halliwell. None of the other 4, just Jerry.
Just Jerry.
I just want to see Jerry. You know, should that Look at Me song?
Oh shit, she did. I forgot about that. That was banging. Let's be honest. Look at me. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'll stop now. I'm so sorry.
Where's
Where's he playing? The Sea Life Centre? Sorry. World Resorts. Is it actually there?
I think it is Resorts World, yeah.
Oh, I love it. Just see him like with the dolphin, like just like swimming through the back and stuff. Sorry, I'll stop.
On stage like that.
These jokes are terrible. These jokes are so terrible. I'm so sorry.
You can imagine how many times he's probably heard those jokes throughout his career as well.
True,
Like,
but I would love it. I would absolutely love it if he just fucked with someone just once and people threw him buckets of fish. Just threw fish at him when he's on stage. It would be absolutely amazing. And he just went, oh, no. With a kiss from a rose on the plate. Because just enjoying that fish so much. Oh. Right, this is getting old now, so I'm going to move on. Let's move on. Sorry, Faith. I don't know what you've let yourself in for.
Oh, no, yeah. Oh, God, what else have I done? I had a night out the other night with Claire and Griff, which was great fun. Went and got some food, had some drinks, had a game of bowling, game of pool. I won on the bowling, lost on the pool. It's fine. Yeah, it was a great night. I think we all needed it, to be fair. Every now and again, you just need a fucking night out to get away from everything, which was lovely. When he saw the kids, but only really saw Sam because Lena was away. So me and him had a nice little day, which was quite nice. Just had a walk around, went to the park and whatnot. And again, I've had a lovely day with Olivia today because it's half term. Which is, yeah. And that's pretty much my week, my friend. How about you? Oh, actually, tell a lie. Watching wise, I'm up to season 3, episode 9 of Ash vs. Evil Dead. I've got 1.5 episodes left. I told you I'd smash it by the time we spoke next. And I watched the first 3 Evil Dead movies just because I was like, I don't understand half these references. I was like, I'm going to watch them. So I watched the first 3 Evil Dead movies. What a weird trilogy of movies they are. Weird.
It amazes me that you're absolutely knackered because you work so much, yet have all this time to watch things. I don't get it.
I watch them on my phone when I'm traveling and stuff, like when I'm doing stuff around the house. I just put it on the side and stuff like that. I very rarely just sit and watch something.
I can't watch off on my phone. It's just like, because I'm so used to a massive TV, that feels weird.
Yeah, I'm just used to multitasking. It's my way of like getting my bits of entertainment, and so I just put it on the side and crack on while I'm doing stuff. Yeah, weird movies though. Weird fucking movies. So the first one's straight up horror. Second one's horror with comedy bits, and the third one, I have no idea what the fuck that was. Becky came home while I was watching it. She was like, "What on earth are you watching?" It's wonderful, wonderfully weird. But there we go. Anyway, how are you, sir?
Yeah, no, not too bad. This week's been... What have I done this week? Obviously, Karis has been away, so I'm just trying to think. Like I said, we did 2 interviews. 2 monster ones. One was at fucking midnight because it's all in Australia, so looking forward to getting that bad boy. I've hardly slept all weekend because the heat's been insane. So it's just not been great. So I should be exhausted. I should literally be headbutting this computer right about now, but... but I'm not. So I'll probably wait after this show's done. I've watched Night of Champions and I watched Double or Nothing back to back yesterday. That was absolutely incredible. What else have I done? I went to Cheltenham. I went to Cheltenham over the weekend. I went to spend the day with Vicky because it was her birthday a few weeks ago, and it was the only time I could get down to go see her. So I went and saw her. Bought some dinner and we just hung out, watched a barbecue cooking program all day on Netflix. It was great. It was so chill. Sunday I saw Paul, went for coffee, and then I came home. Obviously I saw you on Saturday. Yeah, we saw each other, which is nice for all of about 5 minutes, but still, it's always good to collab and get together and whatnot. But other than that, man, like Karis came home, so I was up till 2 a.m. waiting for Karis to come home. Oh. So that was absolutely destroying me because she didn't have her keys. So I was like, oh, I'll let you in. It's because I was going to go to bed. She's like, oh, actually, I haven't got my keys on me. Can you let me in? I'm like, oh. I guess.
Hate your moms.
So I watched Simpsons just to keep me entertained, laughing, because I knew it'd keep me up and laughing. So did that. Other than that, man, like not a whole ass of a lot. Just played a lot of Braden. He's just announced he's doing a massive arena show. A one-off arena show with Boys Like Girls and the Somerset in Toronto at the end of October. It's a massive, massive Boys Like Girls tour with loads of support. So 4 years strong, state champs, 303, the Somerset, the Ready set, Braden, and some other person I can't remember. So apologies to that person. But yeah, they're doing like a massive American and Canadian tour, and then there's loads of different support for different dates. It's quite cool. So that's going on. So make sure if you're in the States or Canada, make sure you go check out the Boys Like Girls tour, because they're back. They did a song with Taylor Swift back in the day, Two Become One. Or two is better than one, sorry. Two Become One, Spice Girls. See, Spice Girls on the brain again. Yeah. Two is better than one is the Boys Like Girls track with Taylor Swift for those interested. But other than that, man, like not a whole ass. Oh, no, I will tell you something.
Oh, okay. Go on, man.
Saturday was weird. So, you know how much I fucking hate this town. I was walking to the train station, and I think I told you this already when I saw you. I was walking to the train station, and it was 9 a.m., right? So pretty early in the morning. Sun was out. It was quite a hot day. Walking towards the station, guy comes on the corner, no t-shirt on. And I was like, oh, my days, okay, here we go. So I didn't realize you're in Barbados, mate. But I could tell the way he was looking. He was just staring straight at me the entire time. And I was like, he's gonna stop me here. He's gonna try and talk to me, I can see.
No.
Then he walked into my path, and I was like, oh, here we go. So anyway, I had my tunes on, and I was like, I'm just gonna keep walking. I'm not even gonna stop and whatever. And all I heard through my music was, weren't you involved in? That's all I heard.
The fuck?
Obviously, I kept walking, and he grabbed my arm. So I just threw him off and kept walking.
The hell?
And then all I could hear was like profanity and shouting, like, blah, 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 blah. He was obviously off his tits on some sort of drugs, but like, it's literally the Tasmanian devil. But I kept like glancing. I wouldn't look behind me, but I kept glancing to make sure it wasn't behind me with a knife or anything, just to be on the safe side. Such a random moment, like just 9 a.m. Really? God, you started early.
I'm just intrigued what he thought you were involved in.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to wait to find out because I think it was all a ploy to like give me your fucking phone.
Probably. Weren't you involved in that rap video that was being made in Newport the other week?
Yeah, by the river. I heard your show. This is it. But yeah, for those people that walk around town in no t-shirt, stop doing it. Just stop doing it. Nobody wants to see that. I don't care how fucking ripped you are. I don't give a shit. All right? Stop doing it because it's unhygienic. No one wants to see that shit anyway. No one is going to see you walk past with your six-pack out and go, are they? No one's going to start putting towels down because they're so excited at the thought of seeing you walk through town. All right? Nobody. So stop doing it. I used to hate working in supermarkets or in shops, and I was always the manager. And they'd walk in, you'd be like, "Get out!" No. It's around your fucking waist. Just put it on. Just put it on. Just put it on for now, and do whatever the fuck you like when you get out of here.
And if they're an extra douche, it's around their shoulders.
Yep, I saw one earlier with that bum bag around. It was like the left tit protector. I only want to protect my left tit, my right one I can't give a fuck about, mate. It's already dead. It's already gone.
Once that one's sunburned, I'll swap the strap over. Fucking idiots.
Grow up. Anyway, sorry. Apologies. That was my week.
Should we step off this high horse and check in with Braden?
We should go and see the old the master of Stay Cozy Clothing.
All right, is this thing on? Well, howdy doody, everybody. This is Braden Berry from Say We Can Fly, founder of Stay Cozy Clothing, your one-stop shop for the coziest, most fashionable hoodies, t-shirts, and more. Gosh, Mickey.
That's right, folks. And we're proud to say that we are now sponsoring
the Chronicles of Podcast. Ouch.
Hosted by Tom and Jamie.
Like, you can get 10% off, man. That's right, Shaggy. Just use the special code, The Chronicles, at checkout.
Oh, boys.
I've said it once, and I'll say it every single week. Best advert ever.
Oh,
simple as that. And now we'll just transition into Jamie's favourite segment of the week.
Oh, yeah. I've been looking forward to this.
It's time for Callum's Treachings.
Do you want to know something? Callum will be able to tell you in Callum's Treachings.
Is cereal soup?
Ooh.
What was that?
I don't really know.
What's that, Dad? Got a carrot? Welcome to another edition of Callum's Treachings. Jamie!
Yes, sir.
Still, we just get right on in there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Come on in.
What is Callum treaching us? Oh, this week?
Walking down the street the same pace as a stranger is weirdly uncomfortable.
It is, though, isn't it?
It absolutely is. You're trying to be walking side by side. Like, I'm going to go a bit quicker because this is weird.
I always worry when there's a lady that's walked in front of you and you go the same way as her for like quite some time. I was walking to the gym and I'd come out my flat and it was like really early in the morning as well. It was like 7 a.m. and I was walking and she'd met me at like Rodney Parade. So she was going to walk over the bridge at the same time as me. And she started to pick the pace up, but that's obviously I couldn't catch her, but I was just walking my north. So it was almost like I was following her the entire way and I felt really fucking guilty. I left the gym, Jamie. Guess what fucking happened?
Oh, she came straight. She was walking.
She left at the same time as me. I went, for fuck's sake. And so it looked like I followed her all the way home as well. And obviously I didn't. It was just bad timing.
I know exactly what you mean by that. You're like, I'm just going about my day, but for some reason I feel guilty about that because I'm going to look like I'm following someone. What a weird world we live in.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, it's so right. It's so, especially when they start looking at you, you're like, all right. But it's almost like you're picking up the pace at the same time as them. So that it's almost like you're walking. So no one slows down. No one's like, I won't be defeated. You will not defeat me. I will beat you there, wherever it is you're going.
If you pick up the pace, it just looks like you're trying to get somewhere a bit quicker. You don't. But if you slow down and start walking backwards a bit, you just look like a bit of a fucking weirdo that's trying to avoid someone.
Yeah, but surely if you pick the pace up a certain day, like, should you pick the pace up, it looks like you're still following them, ish. So slowing down would be better, even though you feel a bit of a wally. At least if you slow down, it's like, I'll just make it. But then if you slow down, it looks like you're waiting.
I'll let them go a bit further ahead of me.
But he's so right. It's such a weird. But what's even worse is, especially when you're in town, it's like, we've been doing this for years. But all of a sudden, people point this shit out now. Excuse me, are you following me? No, I need to go to the same store that you do for some reason. That's just how life works.
Oddly enough, this place has shops. We're both going to the shops.
Yeah. I also just going to say is I also have to wash my clothes. Otherwise, I'm going to smell like shit, my friend. So, you know. And obviously, why'd you get off me yourself thinking I'm following you? You're not that important.
Maybe you're following me.
We just timed this at the same time and we've ended up at the same place together. So get over yourself.
We could have had a budding friendship, but no, you're paranoid and you've ruined it.
Although I kind of made a budding friendship with somebody. I was in Tesco earlier. We're getting some moisturizer because Karis is burnt to a crisp. And this guy was like, we were walking to the same point. Literally, we were getting at the same point. So I started looking and he started looking. And then we looked at each other like, oh, sorry, you. And he was like, yeah. I was like, oh, sorry. So I walked around. And then he followed me again to the same bit. And I was like, I'm really enjoying this dance. This is really good fun. Nice guy. Really nice guy. Don't get his name, though. I don't want to add him to Facebook or anything. Not like that. Not
or his number.
No. But no, I got to have a bit of a weird ballroom dance with somebody at Tesco. It was great. But yeah, a lot of people point things out more now when we never used to. So it's an awkward and a weird. So I get why it's awkward because it's just. But I think if you feel awkward, it makes it look more awkward.
Yes. If you just acted normal, like it, oh well, we're the same people, we're two people going in the same direction, we both walk at the same pace. No one would really care, but because you go, oh, this is awkward, I don't like this, I'm going to move a bit differently. Yeah, it then feels awkward.
Yeah. Don't look like a killer, don't look like a killer.
They're going to think I'm going to attack them. I'm not, because I'm actually quite scared of them, but still.
I was talking of being in Cheltenham. I literally left town 10 minutes and I saw Callum put a story up that was in town. I was like, nah.
Oh, typical.
So, yeah, I know. There we are. But anyway, Jamie, we digress and we move on. What else is Callum treaching us this week?
A lot of people will have never sat in the back seat of their own car.
That's a really fucking good point.
That's weird.
That is...
Oh my days. Well, yeah, but they wouldn't. They're the only ones that are insured to drive it. So,
well, yeah, they never would need to sit in the back seat.
That's weird.
So weird to think about.
It's Becky. Well, no, you don't drive, do you? So
No.
Becky would never have sat in the back of. Yeah.
No, that's what I mean. It's hard to relate to this one because neither of us drive. But yeah, just thinking about it, why would they?
But the thing is, could you imagine she did, and just like, love, well, I'm
I'm in the passenger seat. You're behind me. Who the fuck is driving?
Yeah. She's just there with her arms out, like with her really long, like stilt legs, putting the stilts on the pedals. That'd be so weird.
I was gonna say, I'll look, and Olivia's just sat there. I'm like, ah!
La 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 la, Dad, I like Pink Power Ranger.
Pretty much.
So, yeah, I mean, I can't relate, so I can't make anything funny out of this, really. That's the best I got. That's the best I got, Cal. Like, literally, there's no one there. Far destinations happened. We're fucked.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's literally how that's playing out. So,
at the same time, if I was to own a car, I can't help part of me would think, I own this shit. I am going to sit in every part of it because I own it. I'm going to claim it.
As a driver, right, if you sat in the back of somebody else's car, sure, that still feels weird. Do you think? Because you were normally used to driving. So when you're not driving, you must be a bit like, this feels odd.
What's weird is this has happened. Like, we've gone places with, say, Becky's parents, and they've driven, and she sat in the back. She's like, I don't like this. I'm sitting in the back. But if we're getting a taxi, that doesn't feel weird.
It's because she's drunk?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, just a random observation I've just had then. There we are.
Oh, there we are. There we are indeed. Let's move on because we're not making very good content out of this.
No,
and finally, Jamie, what else is Callum teaching us this week?
The only mammal you can make an omelette from is a platypus.
What?
Callum, I fucking love you. They're the only mammal that lays eggs and produce milk, so they can make their own custard.
Really? For some reason, right, my brain went to the platypus is quite flat.
It is.
So I thought you'd make the omelette from the platypus, not the actual. I didn't realize it made. So I thought you meant platypus omelette, basically, is what I thought you meant.
Just chop up the fucking platypus, shoot it in a pan.
Yeah. Just put that really long random beak on the side. Let's just leave that there. And so I generally thought you meant the animal itself. That's why I was a bit like, what? That really. So I have no knowledge. My platypus knowledge isn't exactly up to par. Let's put it that way.
Why would it be? Let's be honest.
But they lay eggs. You can make, and they have milk as well.
Yeah.
That's weird, dude.
Yeah, the platypus is a weird animal anyway. Let's be honest. Just look at it.
It's like someone took a mallet to a duck.
There's only one way we can improve this duck. We can make it really fucking flat.
And then it's like, but the mashing of the mallet turn their feathers into fur. It's
crushed out.
I mean, because obviously God doesn't exist. These animals are mental.
Yeah.
Like the fact these are like a mongoose. That's a mental animal. It eats fucking snakes. What? Like, what? Oh my God, it's the deadliest fucking cobra I've ever seen in my life. Mongoose like, don't give a shit. No.
And a great name too.
What, mongoose?
Mongoose. It's a great name.
It's like it couldn't turn into a bird, but then it couldn't exactly turn into a monster. I don't know.
I love watching the joke fall apart in your brain. It's great.
My brain just went, no, Tom, you should have stayed where you were. Stay in your lane, boys. Stay in your lane. That is a crazy ass fucking animal, though. Everything eats everything. Wait, do sharks get eaten? They don't, do they?
I swear I've heard before that killer whales attack sharks. I swear I've heard that before.
That rings a bell. Do they eat them, though?
I don't know. But they normally say little, is it krill? Little fish. I can't remember what they're called.
I have no idea. I also want to know who thought a really good idea be a fucking sperm whale was a good idea. We'll have a massive fucking mammal and just fill it full of cum. Why? Why not? And it can literally impregnate the entire Atlantic Ocean by himself.
And he's going to be that well known for it We're going to name him after sperm.
I fancy having to go to the Pacific Ocean today, lads. What are you? Indian? Yeah, off you go, mate. Enjoy yourself. Never been a fan of the Asian types, to be fair. I quite like my Atlantic. Oi! Atlantic Ocean, even you fucking millions and millions of miles away. You might get fucked. Oh my god, can you imagine all that ejaculate? I mean, imagine how fish actually fucking swim through that shit.
Oh,
it's really stick. Oh no, Elliot's gone again. Fuck's sake, Elliot, you prick.
Oh, we've all got pink eye, Dave. Oh,
yeah, I got cum in my eye now, you bastard.
I just wanted a nice, happy swim with the kids, and look what's fucking happened.
You tell one person you don't mind getting a bit of cum on your face, and look what fucking happens. This went in a very weird place.
It really did. How did we go from platypuses making omelettes to sperm whales getting cum in your eye?
Do you reckon there was ever tried a platypus omelette? Surely not. Surely you couldn't eat, because obviously we did. I mean, someone went and got a fucking quail and their eggs, and then so I have no idea. I imagine it's like more than Tory eating platypus. Like quails, so chickens are like all as poor fuckers. Like then you've got quails that fucking like turkey, like your middle class, and you've got, because obviously Americans, quails, your Tory twats, and your upper class bollocks. So the platypus will be obviously above that. Or the upper echelons, like the gods.
Tory platinum.
Yeah. The fucking like Diamond League Tory, I don't know.
If you've got card.
If you have millions, you eat fucking quail. If you have billions, you eat platypus, mate, all right? It's a delicacy. It makes you God's gift to fucking women and men. You can literally you turn into a sperm whale for the land. That's what happens. You impregnate fucking everybody. You know, they can't get pregnant, you still impregnate the lot.
Everyone, men as well. Everyone.
That's what I said. That's what I mean. That's what I said. But we should definitely move on. Callum, thank you so much for another wonderful set of treaches. I feel, though, that we start to analyze them more now than take the piss and have a laugh and, actually make some improv humor out of them. We tend to be like, do you know, actually, it's a really good point. Yeah, pricks.
Because we've been doing this for so long, and I think we've agreed with every single treachin. He's never wrong.
No, I know. I wonder where he gets them from. There must be a website.
Crazy brain of his.
Yeah, I know. No, it's definitely going to be his mind. He's a clever motherfucker. I mean, have you seen the size of him? I wouldn't want to fuck with that.
I was just say, even if he wasn't, I'd tell him he was, because I'm scared.
So, yeah, he'd pick you up with his pinky finger and go, ha, 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 and eat you for breakfast for no reason whatsoever. With platypus omelette, weirdly. Anyway, I digress again. Jamie.
Yes, sir.
It's time for Tom's Journal.
Bring it.
And welcome to another edition of Tom's Journal. Right, Jamie, I really can't wait to hear future generations give their children advice like, son, if something sounds too Gucci to be trill, it's probably cap dead ass.
What's upsetting is, one, as I know that's things people say, and two, I have no idea what the fuck he just said.
Neither do I. I have absolutely no idea what that meant. I just thought it was fucking hilarious because it's so true. I can imagine parents, the kids now, when they become parents, they'd be like, "That's so fucking peak, son. Like, don't ever say that. That's gas. I'm gassed. I'm gassed about that."
It hurts my soul hearing it. Even when you're taking the piss, it just hurts to hear those words.
Yeah, it's bullshit. It is bullshit. Day 2 of arguing in my head with a stranger who was slightly rude to me yesterday. I think I've got on the ropes.
I do that so much. It's ridiculous.
I should have said that. I've got you now, bitch. I know it was last week, but I don't give a shit.
I wish I'd said that now. I might just go find them and start an argument again so I can say it this time.
Jamie, pirates are just tropical goths.
Why have I never heard that before? That's beautiful. Tropical goths. Oh God, that is wonderful.
thought you'd enjoy that.
That might be a favourite.
Well, I'm following it with a conversation between Batman and Superman.
Oh, okay.
Batman, you and Lois should come over for dinner at the mansion. Superman, sure, what's the address? Batman, Wayne Manor. Superman, yeah. But what's the actual address? Lois might want to drive. Batman, stately Wayne Manor. Superman, that's not, it doesn't matter. Do you not know your own address? Like, how do you even get home? Batman, through a waterfall, into a cave, up a staircase, through a clock.
That's a really good point. Has anyone actually ever said the address for Wayne Manor? No. They always just go, Wayne Manor.
Some reason it's on Bat Street at Alfred Lane.
I really want to know the road name now that Wayne Manor is apparently on. It's
gone. How the fuck didn't you put two and two together Boulevard?
That's what I love about superhero things. When you put logic to it, it's so fucking obvious. Like especially Superman, Clark Kent, Superman.
Yeah.
How did no one know?
Where's Jamie? Jamie? Oh, there you are.
Yeah,
fucking hell. Sorry. Some random strangers turned up. But what truly does the washing machine gain by lying about how long the cycle has left? If you need more time, just say it.
I swear that is the longest minute in anyone's life is the final minute on a washing machine.
Yeah, it's going to be right now. I might as well wait.
The only thing that's longer is waiting for the door to click for you to be able to open the fucking thing after it's cooled down a bit. It should be able to open when that timer ends. Don't play this game with me washing machine.
And you wait so when you walk away, you get to the end of the room, you hear beep. Like, fuck's sake! I was just their machine.
I know, that's why I waited.
Jamie, at my funeral, take the bouquet off my coffin and throw it to the crowd to see who's next. Oh, sorry, Nan. Sorry about that. Did you get... Oh, sorry about that. Are you next? Oh, okay. Death just turns up.
Just have someone dressed as the Reaper to throw it.
Well, yeah, then to get the scythe out and just slice and be like, oh, fuck, you actually killed... Oh, my God, you've actually killed her. What the fuck?
I said she was next. Come on.
Body parts, Jamie, are often metaphors, okay? Guts are courage. Balls are courage. Spine is courage. Toes, however, are small pigs that participate in the market economy.
This might be my favourite journal ever. It's a fucking brilliant. Small pigs that market economy. Oh, that is wonderful.
I feel that this entry is an Ori entry. This is like a thing Ori would say.
Okay.
I don't want to adult today. I don't even want a human today. Today, I want a dog. I'll be lying on the floor in the sun. Please pet me and bring me snacks.
That is the most Ori thing I've ever heard about Ori even saying it. Absolutely agree.
Oh. If you drove, this would be amazing. All right. And I don't know if I'd have the courage to do it, but if you ever drive and ever do this, I will love you forever. 3 steps. Step 1, go to a drive-through. Step 2, say, I'm sorry, but I'm blind. Can you read the menu to me? Step 3, see how long they'll read before realizing you can't drive if you're blind.
Oh my God, we are trying that the next time we go to McDonald's drive-through. Someone's got to do it. Say that. You can guarantee there's about 500 TikToks of people doing that, to be fair. But I want to experience it. So
yeah, I bet it'd be fucking hilarious as well. 13-year-old me. Why is my mum texting me? Me now. I'm going to send my mum a picture of this grass because it's super green and I think she'll like it.
It's weird, isn't it? It's that part of life where you're like, God, leave me alone, Mom. And then all of a sudden it's, I'm going to message my mom. Where is that line?
Obviously, when you get out of teenage, I suppose.
I'd imagine so. That's probably when you move away.
I'm going to give you a few more, all right? A few more. Him. She's always on her phone. I wonder who she's speaking to. Her. Did Jeffrey Dahmer use seasoning?
Does make you wonder, though.
I mean, I can't imagine human tastes nice. He had to have, surely.
I don't imagine so.
I imagine this is how your day goes. I'm going to use your name, Jamie. This day is stressing me. I need a drink. 3-year-old. Here you go, Dad. Hands me his milk. Me. Have you got anything stronger, kid? Yep. Mum, can you get Dad a chocolate milk?
Oh, that's so cute. I'd feel instantly better from something so adorable. But you're just like, fuck off, kid, I want whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd just like punch him in the face. No, I wouldn't. Do you know what, James, right? My favourite sports team keeps losing so much. I don't even watch their games anymore. But my wife tells me I have to because it's just 9-year-olds playing soccer and we have to support our daughter.
I'll be so glad none of my kids are going to team sports because I honestly couldn't think of anything fucking worse.
No, I know you hate sports, don't you? Other than wrestling.
Exactly. If any of my kids want to become wrestlers, that'd be wicked. I'll support that. But if I have to sit and watch football every weekend, I'm going to cry.
I'm going to end on this. Ewan Thomas, the runner. Do you remember him? He's an athlete.
No.
I just paid 900 quid for a sofa and I've been told it's going to be 6 weeks until delivery. Does anyone know where I stand? Someone replied, probably in your living room.
Fuck's sake.
And that was another edition of Tom's Journal.
I thought this was going to be related to some athlete then, the way it started.
I do love that.
That was a superb journal. That has got to be one of my favourites of ever. That was brilliant. Oh.
But do you think pirates are tropical goths?
That is my favourite thing in the world now. Tropical goths of the Caribbean. Dun, 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 dun,
That's what they should call it, yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's what they should definitely call it. But while we're here, Jamie, I think we should bring that piece in.
Oh, we definitely should bring that piece in.
I think we've talked a lot of bollocks. Welcome to the Chronicles of Faith Elizabeth.
Faith Elizabeth is an incredible independent actor and filmmaker and the owner of Faithful Films. She is currently promoting an incredible heart-wrenching movie called My Baby Cries. You're going to find out all about it in this movie. You're also going to find out about her amazing Yes She Can movement, which she just went and did at the Cannes Film Festival after we had this interview, but just before it's coming out now. This is a wonderful conversation. It is very heart-wrenching at times. It's very deep at times. It's very dark at times. But my God, I'm so grateful to Faith for sitting there and telling these stories that cannot be easy to tell. Let's be honest, at the end of the day, it cannot be easy to tell these stories. And it means the absolute world that she trusted in us to tell us these things. And just go out there and support Faith because this is amazing. I love this conversation so much.
Yeah, exactly. Faith, enjoy Ibiza, as I know you're out there right now as we record this, and I imagine you'll still be there when it's released on Friday. This is Tuesday night, just to let everyone know. Please go support the Yes She Can charity that Faith represents. And we hope you enjoyed Cannes Film Festival. We hope you all enjoyed this interview. It, like Jamie said, it's very in-depth, it's very insightful, and obviously it talks about a very serious interest she had that could have cost her career. She didn't stop. She persevered and smashed it out the fucking park. This is a great interview, and I'm very excited for you all to hear it. Jamie!
Yes, sir.
Any final words?
Just a massive thank you to Faith. Just to repeat what I said then, the fact you trusted in us to tell us these stories means the absolute world. I absolutely love this conversation. Like Tom said, this is absolutely amazing. People enjoy this one.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, interviewing this week, it's Faith Elizabeth.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we bring you another wonderful guest with another wonderful and inspiring story. This week's guest is a living embodiment of never giving up and chasing your dreams. She's an actor, filmmaker, and empowering women all in the world of cinema by saying, yes, we can. She played Scar in The Lion King. She's walked the streets of Albert Square. She's even been in a Nando's advert. Boys and girls, join us as we bring you the Chronicles of Faith Elizabeth. Yes.
Absolutely amazing. Faith, thank you so much for taking the time up your Monday evening, as you say, to join us. We really do appreciate it. But I think we should start with the real hard-hitting stuff, which was, how was the last few years been? How was your pandemic season?
Oh, God. Do you know, I feel like everybody says the same thing, right? Because we all had a very different experience, but we all had the same thing, didn't we, with the pandemic? I mean, for me, it wasn't that bad in the end, because I spent a lot of time sitting in a paddling pool drinking gin in my swimming costume. So it was all right. I got to just kind of write and create and not worry too much about the pressure of feeling like you have to be achieving a lot or earning a lot of money, because there wasn't really that opportunity. But I bought a dog, which was nice. And I spent loads of time with my daughter, which was nice. So I know that there was like all the crap and the rubbish stuff and the worrying and all that kind of nonsense. But I feel like at this end of it, I'm like, you know, there was rough with the smooth in the end. And I think it pushed me in ways that I don't know if I would have accelerated my career as quickly, because I think it made a lot of people sort of realize, like, what do I actually want to do with my life? And sort of take control and stop thinking that, especially in the film industry, your career often feels like it's in other people's hands. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if I can swear on this podcast, but I was like, fuck it. I'm not going to sit around and just let life go by, and then we could all just die tomorrow from some crazy pandemic illness or something. So yeah, I feel like I've come out at the other end better and stronger, even if it was like a bad dream that went on for way too long.
It's so you're more than welcome to swear, by the way. We do as well. We always get a feel of the guest first before we start, you know, banging the shits and fucks. It's all right.
Banging the shits and fucks.
Love that. That's great.
What dog did you get?
She's a Maltipoo, so she's a Maltese poodle cross. She's a teddy bear dog. She's like this big and the most adorable thing ever. I don't know how I managed to find my like soulmate in a dog, because she like lies in bed and sleeps with me when I don't want to get up, but then when I do get up, she's like, what are we doing today? Yay. So it's like the perfect mixture of little ball of fluff. So yeah.
Oh, that's lush. What's her name?
Oh God. So her name is Princess Coco Chanel. That's her legal name.
Okay.
The thing is, no, because like I get so much grief about this. My dad was like, I'm not having some weird name that I have to like scream across the field when you inevitably ask me to look after her. So we went through all these different names, and he was like, you're not calling her. My daughter wanted to call her Blossom, which he sounded like with bosom or bottom or something. He was like, I'm not doing that. So we went through all these different names, and then I said, well, if we call her Coco, then you are happy to say Coco, and I can call her Princess. So, you know, it's a win-win. Eventually, over time, we ended up calling her like Cokie, and stuff. But my dad is the only one that actually calls her Princess Coco Chanel. He's the only one that says to her, like, Cokie, Wokey, Wokey. And I'm like, you're the one that made me try and come up with a name that was like dad safe. And you're the one that's like...
I love it. It's a classic male thing to do. It's not like, fucking animals don't want them. What do you mean? I don't know. No, bollocks. And then all of a sudden it's like...
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the only one that lets Coco lick his face as well. And I'm like, I love her to pieces, but I'm not going to do that. And he'll sit there and he doesn't like it, but he'll like be like, I'm doing this because I love her. And he'll be like scrunching his face up and he's like, I'm like, Dad, you don't have to let her do that. And he's like, no, she seems so happy when she gets to lick my face. And then her little tongue goes like in his nose or in his ear. And he's like, it's not a requestee that you have to let her lick your innards, but what you do for love, eh?
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, lick your innards.
Off to a flyer.
Oh, I love that.
That's all I can say. They both sit there with a grin. So, yeah, they're good to me, right?
I love that so much. Oh, well, take us back to the start. What did young Miss Elizabeth wish to be when she was growing up? Was it always acting and performing, or something completely different, like train driver? I don't know.
I was always into acting and like putting on little shows in front of the family. There's actually the first time I was ever on camera recorded on like one of those home videos that my dad bought one of the cameras, and we're all sat there in the lounge and we're all recording ourselves and we can see ourselves on the TV, and we've still got it. And I watch it now and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I knew I was acting then, even in the way that I was behaving to the camera. I knew that it was like a performance and I did it on purpose and it was a whole orchestrated thing. But I also went through a time where I was like, I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a police officer. I want to be all these really cool things. And then I was like, but you know, if I'm an actor, I can be all of those things, but without having to like study or anything. I can do like the pretending fun bit where you get to dress up and look cool and like throw the book at someone or whatever. But then I don't actually have to do the hard part, which is like paperwork or the legals or any of that. So I kind of figured it was something I really enjoyed, but also like best of both worlds, you know? So
I like that. That's great. I want to do all these things, then I'll pretend to do all these things and get paid for it. Yes.
Have you played a lawyer or police officer yet?
I actually haven't, funnily enough. Not quite there yet. Like, I don't know. I think I'm actually age-wise in the right space. Like, you do see sometimes those like younger police officers, but I don't know. I kind of see myself as a police officer more like, you know, like in a suit as opposed to like on the beat. See, I can't even look. I'd have been such a shit police officer, wouldn't I? Like, I don't even know the terminology. Like I don't know, like a murder investigator kind of police officer.
Yeah. Like detective, like undercover or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't like into like the bun and the police hat and that kind of vibe, but yeah, like someone's getting murdered and I'm just like rocking up, like taking charge of the crime scene. I think that's the vibe.
Get flip the old notepad, lit the pencil, right? What's going on here?
Yeah. Get my face like right up against the dead body, like, who's done this?
Love it. On closer inspection.
This is yogurt, not semen.
Malicious, this.
Oh, come on.
Sorry.
Where did that love for performance come from? Were you a dramatic child, or the family in the business, or did it just?
It was like, you know, in my blood, I think. Like, I was at school, we would put on little shows together, and if like drama was my favorite subject, and it was just something I just did all the time, just as part of who I was before really understanding. I think that there was a weird permission to like be someone different and just be in a different headspace in a different world that I really liked. So I would really push all my characters to being like really kind of extreme versions of things. It wasn't so much like sitting there pretending to be a princess kind of thing. It was, like maybe, I don't know, like, you know, we're all in a family and mummy's left us alone in the house and we're going to pretend that we have to survive because we've been abandoned and we're neglected children. It was like that kind of, maybe I had like such a like loving, supportive, happy family that I was like acting out some kind of weird like opposite end spectrum. So I don't know where that came from. I had this idea for this book I was going to write as well about these kids that woke up one day and everyone in the world had disappeared, and they had to sort of work out how to survive, and it was going to have a black cover and it was going to have a question mark on the front, and I was going to play the girl in the book, and she'd be like with her sister, and I was thinking about it years later and I was like, I was about 11 when I was thinking of that concept. Like, that's pretty deep for like an 11-year-old who, should probably be doing tea parties or something. Like, not like, I'm going to pretend I've been abandoned in the world and it's like the apocalypse or something.
Totally right.
Yeah, it's a little bit, but anyone listening to trademark Faith Elizabeth, you're not stealing this idea because it's going to happen. It's a great story. You got to do it now.
Yeah, we'll see. I sometimes think about it. I think I've got the notebook somewhere where I like was writing. So I keep things. I'm like a keeper of stuff. I like to keep little bits of like, when you're 10 and you drew a picture and it's like in my drawer somewhere. So I might have to dig it out at some point, but we'll see. I think the story needs a bit more developing. Maybe
just a little bit. But...
So Jamie alluded to the fact that you played Scar. So you did your own production of The Lion King and raised money for the World Wildlife Fund.
Yeah.
And out of every character you could have chosen, why Scar?
Because like Scar is so freaking cool. Like he's like powerful and interesting, and like Simba and stuff is like, oh, I want to be king, oh maybe not, I feel like Nala is like the love interest, like, oh, so boring playing love interests. Like I've done a few of them over my years and I'll probably do a few more, but when it's just the love interest, it's just a tag along kind of role, whereas Scar was like the center of the film, and I got this like black wig with white streaks in it because I didn't have black hair at the time, and I had this like cat suit thing, and I was in a box and I jumped out and I was like scaring everyone, and it was like just like the polar opposite of this like quiet shy girl that was just kind of didn't really have any friends and just kind of sat in the corner and didn't really get involved. And then the next thing I'm just like leaping out of this box and all these grown-ups are like, what is wrong with this child? And I'm like, you can see. But like so entertaining, right? Like I got such a kick off of that entertaining thing, whereas and also I couldn't sing so good, so like if it was all about the singing, then it's not going to be like, oh wow, it's beautiful and moving. It's like, was there a tune? Did she quite get that? Whereas with Scar, it's like you could kind of screech and it was part of the character, so.
No, I love it. Well, you've only got one song, so you're all good.
Yeah.
And it's a badass song. So I would have picked it for the song alone.
Yeah.
So obviously, as we were just talking about, your career started from a young age, working on stage. I know you had to drop out of college for reasons we'll discuss in a bit, but was theatre and working on stage the original plan, or was it always a stepping stone to want to work on screen?
I think I didn't understand very much when I was younger, the like film world, or I don't think the connection came with that, like acting is also on TV as well. I think very naturally when you're young, you do plays at school and you're on stages, and that's very normal. And then when I got this scholarship at this stage school, I was pushed even further into like the musical theatre world, and I was just so happy to be there and just wanted to be on stage and perform forever. I think I might have, as I got a bit older, started to think like I should probably come away from musicals because I still couldn't sing even after, I think I did 2 years of training there. They were on a scholarship and they were still like, yeah, she's great at acting, but I'm not sure about this singing thing. It was really awkward when I was voted head girl, and it's like the head girl wasn't the girl that was like perfect at everything. I was just very enthusiastic and got on really well with everyone. But they were kind of like, yeah, the head girl doesn't have a lead role in this production again. And I was like, shit, man, I keep not getting lead roles because I can't dance or sing. But I think, yeah, as time went on, I started to think like maybe I should look at getting into film. But when I was younger, the thought was that you had to go to drama school and then you'd get an agent and then you'd work in film. So there was like a set path that they sort of taught you of how to get into it. So it was always like eventually at some point when I'm trained and when I'm ready, then I'll maybe get to be in a movie or something. But I was always like, regardless of that, I just want to be performing and be on stage and just get anything I can until that happens.
I don't know what it is about stage and theatre and stuff. There always has to be a song in it. Like, you can't just have a play. You don't have to sing. Just do a play.
I've been in plays since, which has got no singing, which is obviously why I was in them. But there is something magical about when people sing beautifully and it's all, you know, dancey and shit. But it's just not me.
I mean, I suppose it's good to have it in the back pocket, though. That sort of that you've gone up and done theatre, musical theatre, you know, regardless of the singing part. That you've got that experience in your back pocket, so you're multi, not lingual. What's the word I'm looking for? Like you got multi talents, and you've dipped your toes in each sea.
No, I wasn't multi-talented at all. It wasn't that. They used to have this terminology called triple threat, and everyone was like, you must be a triple threat. And that meant you were good at singing, acting, and dancing. And they were like, if you want to succeed, you have to be a triple threat. And everyone would go on about it all the time. It was like the bane of my life. So I was like, I'm a single threat, that's it. But I will come in here and work so damn hard and be so good at that I'll get like the pity role, because they'll be like, this is the role where there's like some really nice acting, but we don't have to get her to like sing or remember any dance moves. But yeah, it's not something I'm still bitter about at all. But I think the thing is that there's a lot more musicals for kids, and there's a lot more musical opportunities, and it's kind of like you do the pantomimes and stuff. When you're watching kids perform, and sometimes they're not very good, the musical parts of it are probably some of the better parts, because it's like you can listen to someone sing for a minute, or you can watch them try and do some kind of angel dance or something. Whereas obviously when kids are performing, it's not always very good. So I think if you had to watch like an hour play of just acting and it's like shit, people are like not going to enjoy that as much. They're going to be like, I don't think we're going to go to this. Like, I don't know, watching 10-year-olds who are a bit shit doing Macbeth or something might actually bring some bums on seats. Like, if they're like really bad, you have to be like really good or really bad. You can't be in the middle when it comes to that.
Shakespeare's never really tickled the old pickle, to be fair. If I see it, I'm like, oh, cool, yeah.
Yeah,
not for me.
I don't think I've ever read a whole Shakespeare play, which is like, you're not supposed to say that if you're an actor. Everyone always says like actors are supposed to be like so into it, like you're not a proper actor unless you like love Shakespeare. But I'm like,
bullshit.
Yeah, I'm not so
yeah.
sure.
What they expect to walk in and be like, can I compare thee to a summer's day? Like, it's in a brisk Thursday morn. I don't know what I was going on. Dost thou want to bequeath? Like, no, let's stop doing that now. It's 2023, guys, right? Have you not noticed? We've all moved on.
But it's like music. You can like Shakespeare if you want to like Shakespeare, but like if someone's like ramming rap down your throat and you're like not into that, like you go like rap's not your thing, heavy metal's not your thing. Whereas with like acting in the acting world, it's like if you say like Shakespeare's not my thing, it's like you've cursed yourself. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe as generations go, they might allow more of us to publicly say, I don't really like Shakespeare.
I don't like Shakespeare, but Steven Spielberg, on the other hand, come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Let's bring it forward a little bit now, yeah. So, as I said in the previous question, then you suffered a major setback. It was a back injury, was it?
Yes, yeah.
What happened?
Oh, it's like. So I was working. I used to work from a really young age. I had loads of jobs. I wanted the freedom of having my own money, and I liked doing things. So it was probably like my 5th job that I had at this age, and I was just working in a supermarket. And they were very naughty because they didn't do all the health and safety training, and I was like 16, and I was kind of rushed onto the shop floor. And the boys in the storeroom used to think it was really funny to get me to do all the hard jobs, like lifting heavy boxes and stuff like that. So they would all sort of stand at the bottom of the ladder while I was trying to lift all these boxes. And me being very tenacious, I was like, yeah, of course I can fucking lift these boxes. Not ideal, really. But it was like the combination of what I was doing, kind of lifting a wine box out of the shelf and twisting and sort of putting it down and not knowing as a 16-year-old girl what to do. And I basically I damaged the nerves in my spine through what I was doing. And then when I was quite sick for a while, and they used to recommend if you had a back injury to lie in bed and not do anything. So I did lie in bed and not do anything, and it got worse because now we've since found out that that's the worst thing you can do for a back injury. And then when I basically went and got, I had lots of MRIs and lots of tests and things, and they discovered that the reason that the injury had affected me so much was because I have chronic degenerative discs in my spine and early onset osteoporosis. So essentially the age of my bones was like a 40-year-old woman in my spine, despite the fact that I was 16. So that small injury combined with the wrong advice meant that I had quite severe like nerve damage around the discs. I had slip discs, and they were like, you probably won't ever really walk properly again, and you'll probably be in a wheelchair by the time you're 40. So it was quite a life-changing experience. I don't know if the injury hadn't happened, if I wouldn't have known until later on about my back problems, or if it accelerated it or if it caused it. It's really kind of hard to know exactly what that injury did as a whole to everything. But yeah, I still have chronic back pain, and I still have the nerves in the spine send messages to the brain telling them that there's a much more severe injury than there is. So although the discs and the nerves and stuff are damaged themselves, on the surface it's like inflamed and stuff sometimes, but there's not really an injury there. It's very strange. I ended up in St Thomas's Hospital for a month at their chronic back pain clinic when I was, I think, 17 or 18, having treatment on it to try and work out what was really going on. But their kind of whole thing was like, you're probably going to be disabled for your whole life. You just probably need to accept that, learn how to manage it, and stop taking all these painkillers and drugs that you're on, because they're not very good for you. So it wasn't like the best outcome, but obviously I was like, fuck that. Like literally spent like a year or two like, oh, my life's over. This is the worst thing to ever happen. I'm never going to be an actress. I'm never going to do anything. And then, yeah, unexpectedly I got pregnant at 19. And then I was suddenly like, fuck man, I'm going to be a mum. I've got to actually, look after another human being. And it was out of that experience that I was like, it was that pivotal moment where you kind of make your decision as to what you're going to do. And I was like, well, my life isn't just about me anymore. It's about this child that's coming into the world. So I very much pivoted towards like, what can I do to make my back better? And what are all the different treatment options? What drugs can I stop taking or start taking? Or, what nutrients or something can I find to help me get better, essentially. But it was a long 3 years in the middle of all that.
That is absolutely nuts, and I commend you massively for obviously the fact that you're now having a flourishing, fantastic career. But what a weird way for 16-year-olds to flirt. I really like you. I do. Can you? I bet you can't lift that box. It's just
16-year-olds recently. That's how 16-year-olds flirt. I swear they're all awkward as fuck. That's literally the whole thing, isn't it? It'll be like they'll like poke you and be like, oh, and you're like, oh my god, yeah, sexy. You poked me. I have like a bruise. Like, thanks, bitch.
Or they like shove you over or like punch in the arse and like, yeah, see, that hurt. And in the head are going, oh my god, I really like her. I do. I like her so much. Yeah, it's so weird.
it's the awkward hormones, isn't it? And I don't know.
But I see what you're saying, though, in a way of like, have the injury happening, would you have then known about the condition that you have, and that sort of, it's kind of the body is mental. It's like the most mentalist thing ever. And like I said before, like it's amazing that you've been able to move past it. Obviously, you've got your daughter. Were you able to pick her up and carry her and stuff, or no?
It was actually incredible what happened, because your body releases lots of new hormones and lots of new stuff to basically help you after you've had a baby. And one of the things that the body releases, which I used to know what it was called, but I don't really talk about this very much anymore, basically helps with elasticity, and it basically loosened up my back. And actually, we did have good days and bad days, but I was actually better almost after I gave birth to her than I was before, because the body was slowly strengthening over time to carry the weight. And I didn't gain much weight, but it was slowly strengthening to carry the weight and strengthening around the back and everything. So it actually ended up afterwards, I was like in so much better than I was before. And that's a big part about what I have to do now, is make sure it's all strong, and I have to go to the gym to strengthen my back muscles to protect the spine. But it was incredible, really, because like I think she did save my life, actually, because I was like I like tried to kill myself a few times before I found out I was pregnant, because I was so depressed about the whole thing. And then afterwards I was like, my body is stronger, I've just had a baby, and I'm like here to like look after her, and that's now my life's purpose. So, you know, it helped me physically and mentally and emotionally, and also like saved my life. So I feel like lucky that happened.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that things got that bad, you know, and I'm so thankful that you're still here, because we wouldn't have this wonderful conversation about Princess Coco Chanel.
Yeah, it feels like a different life, though, you know, like when you look back at these things, you're like, was that really me? Was that really my life? But it's kind of crazy, these seasons that you go through, and the older you get and the more seasons you go through, the more you can recognize it's a season, instead of it being like the end of the world. Like it might be the end of the world as you know it now, but that doesn't mean that your story is finished. It's just another really fucking cool chapter for when you write your book someday.
I was gonna ask, like, having the back problem as you're halfway through, as you just started studying to chase you, I was gonna say it must have played hell on your mental health adjustment, but I think you just sort of answered that question. Yeah.
It did. It was so difficult as well, because I'd worked with this group doing like an A-level standard play. It was theatre, no singing, and I had a lead role. And I was like sort of being pitted as this like hotshot actress who was going to do really big things as I was going into college. And I was in a bit of a difficult situation, because I was obviously dating someone at the time who was a lot older than I was, and he wasn't very good for me either. So it felt like I was under attack from quite a few different angles that were not great. But my parents had always kind of taught us, like, when you're under attack, it's because there's something really good happening, like there's something really good coming. And you always feel like it's the darkest day, it's the biggest war when you're on the cusp of doing something great. And that actually is so fucking true, because every time something, like everything's going to shit in my life, suddenly I'm like, this is why it's going to shit, because it's trying to stop me from doing that thing. And it's like almost like clockwork. So now when something bad happens, I'm like, yeah, something really fucking good is happening. I just need to get through this, and on the other side, it's going to be like really good. So
I love that. I love that. I love the way. Well, it's part of the reason I reached out to you, because I was looking on your website and reading your bio and stuff. I was like, I just love this woman's outlook. Like the way she's gone through things. Like, this is awesome. And yeah, absolutely, it's fantastic. I love that outlook on life. But 2013, I believe it was, you decided to put the acting shoes back on. What was it that made you want to get back into the world?
I'd started working in London doing like promo work, and I'd started getting out into the world a bit more. And I started having this feeling of like, okay, I couldn't go to drama school. That didn't quite work out. But what else can I do instead that still means I can be a mum? So I started picking up like essay work, doing like film extras work. And I started to see and understand a different side of the industry that I'd never understood or known before. And then I got introduced into the indie film world as well, and I didn't even know that existed at the time. So it felt like it was kind of, like the right time for me. I had a miscarriage when I was 21, and so it's actually mental. So I had decided, I was with this guy who's no good. He was really awful to me. He used to hit me, and he was very abusive. And I decided, I saw this advert for this Bollywood film, and I was like, I think I'm going to go and try this extras work in Bollywood. So I said to my family, I'm going to go to Oxford and stay in a hostel for 2 weeks and work on this Bollywood film, getting paid 50 quid a day, which is barely going to cover my costs for being there. But I really want to get on a film set and see the world and see what it's really like. And so my parents were always very supportive. They're like, sounds really dangerous. Take care, but go and do it. It's fine. My boyfriend was like, no, you can't do that. This is like the craziest thing ever. And that was, I went and did that. The director really loved me. It was a Bollywood film called Desi Boys with Akshay Kumar, and I can't say his name, Surman Jamin. But the Bollywood guys, all like, when I meet people now who've been in Bollywood and stuff, they're like, oh, Desi Boys. I'm like, yeah, cool, right? But I basically went and did that Bollywood film. They were like, come to India, come out. We're going to like make you a movie star. You're really cool. I came back from the shoot and I came home and I said to my dad, like, you know, they love me. I'm going to go be a movie star. And this was actually just before I found out I was pregnant with my daughter, Summer, that I have. So that was obviously back in 2010. And then I was like wearing these like sucking pants on the film set, like, oh, we have to wear this evening gown. I feel really fat. No idea. I'm wearing 3 layers of sucking pants because I've got a tiny little baby bump and I was like 6 months pregnant. That's why I had this little bump that I thought was just like fat. But yeah, my boyfriend at the time was like, you can't go off and do this. Like, I don't like this. You shouldn't be doing this. And then obviously I found out I was pregnant with Summer. So I put the whole thing on hold and I was like, no, I'm not doing this. But years later, after I had the miscarriage, I was like, fuck it. Life is really short. And like, I don't like this guy anymore. I'm just going to kind of go off and do my own thing and just not care. So then I was like, that film job that I did in 2010, although it wasn't a very good job as a whole, that was like film extra work. And I was like, I'm going to try and do that more. So I joined a load of agencies and yeah, sort of started learning from a different perspective, because you didn't have all the stuff we have now, like in terms of like Twitter and stuff. It was like we were still buying the stage newspaper to read about what's going on, you know, back then. So yeah, it kind of like launched me into the film extra stuff, and then also into the indie film world. And then through the film extra stuff, I kind of got this idea that they were like, if you can get upgraded and if you can get a bigger role, then you can get on Spotlight. So even if you've not gone to drama school, you can get on Spotlight that way. So I would be like pushing myself to the front of the film extras, like chatting up all the crew, like trying to get myself in. Like I'd be first in, the perfect little film extra. Everyone's like, she's such a suck up. I'm like, yeah, I am, because I've got shit to do and I'm not going to go off to drama school, am I? This is the only opportunity I've got. So, and it did work actually, because I got a lot of featured parts. I got a lot of little lines and stuff, literally just from doing extras work, because I couldn't get in the real route where you've studied and you've got your agent and you've got it that way.
What's the expression? It's not about what you know, it's about who you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Well, I mean, you were in Endeavour, you were in EastEnders, Holby City, like you say, smashing the independent scene as well. But you were also in Legend with Tom Hardy, which I think is absolutely amazing, and what a film that is. But your lines were cut.
I know. It was like one of the biggest like disappointments ever that I was like, this is my big break. I've been cast through the so some of the extras agencies basically get to cast smaller roles in the bigger productions because they can save on money. So they don't have to get a car to pick you up, and they don't have to pay you really high actor rates. They can kind of pay you a little add-on to your extras role. So it happens quite a lot that you can get cast like that. So I got cast obviously as the photographer in Esmeralda's bar. And I was like, this is my big thing. I've got a scene with Tom Hardy. So if nothing else, we'll have a scene and I'm acting alongside him. And I was so excited. And then the filming itself was like really stressful because I had this real 1920s or something camera and the bulbs explode when they go off. And I didn't know at the time, but he's notoriously hates paparazzi. Doesn't like going near them and hates flashes in front of his face. So when we're filming our scene and my whole thing is to hold this thing up in front of his face that flashes in his face and he has to do it like 50 times, he fucking hated me. He was like, who the fuck is this bitch? Get her out of my face. And I was like, oh, this is like my big break. And then also the fact that like he's very method, so he's like very in character and he's like playing this gangster and he's like wiping snot off his like sleeve and he's like looking like shit at everyone, and he's not like got the suave kind of Tom Hardy thing that you might kind of expect because he's in character and he's really focused and he's really good. So afterwards I was like, okay, that wasn't maybe the best experience, but you know, it was really good fun and obviously I'm going to be in Legend. And then when the movie came out, I just bawled my eyes out because I was like, they just cut all my lines with him. So like this big break that I was supposed to have turned into, you can still see a few little screen grabs of me and you can see a few little moments, but it wasn't the acting scene that it was meant to be. So
sorry to bring it up.
No, it's okay. I've had a few of these actually. I got hired on Doctor Who to be Pearl Mackie's love interest when they were introducing her. And I was like a big fan of Doctor Who back in the day. And I was like, well, I was a David Tennant fan in that era. And then I did like go into a little bit the Matt Smith. I dated a guy, well, I kissed a guy once that looked like Matt Smith because I was like, oh, he looks like Matt Smith. This is fun. But yeah, like, I wasn't so keen on the Peter Capaldi years, and I think a lot of people kind of killed off because it, you know, when you fall in love with Doctor Who because of we did watch a little bit of Christopher Eccleston, but anyway, we'll start nerding out on Doctor Who. But it was like I fell in love in the David Tennant years, so I was like, if I get to be a part of this and not just like a little thing, like I get to be like this new assistant's love interest, that's like, you know, a really big part of history. Part of me was a bit disappointed because I was thinking maybe I won't get to do a bigger role because I've done that. Although Doctor Who's notorious for bringing people back later and just pretending that they weren't in it before. Yeah. But yeah, that ended up being a whole shit show in itself because I went off to Wales and I was like put up in the hotel and I was like so excited and I got to set and they gave me the script and I looked at the script and the whole premise was Pearl Mackie fancies this girl that works at the university. Okay. So she gives her extra chips. So, sorry, Pearl Mackie works at the university. So she's giving her extra chips every day because she fancies her. Okay. And she accidentally fastens her up and now doesn't fancy her anymore. I was like, hey, I'm going to do prosthetics or something. Like, I don't know, like, never been the skinniest person, but I was like, okay. So we get dressed in costume and we go to set, and as soon as I step on set, everyone's freaking out and they're like, this is not going to work, and they're moving the camera around, this is not going to work. So they send me back to the makeup truck and the costume truck and I get changed and they bring me back again, and again they're like, and there's always buzzing around me. I'm like, what have I done wrong? And eventually the first AD took me to one side and he was like, we're really sorry, but you don't quite look how we were expecting you to look. And I was like, okay. And they're like, we kind of thought that you were going to be kind of like pretty, but a bit fat and a bit chubby. But obviously you're not. And I was like, okay. You've had all my side tapes and my photos and things. And they were like, yeah, I mean, you can stick around and we'll still pay you and stuff. but we're going to have to recast you. And I was like, my little heart shattered. And I was like, this is so bad. And I was like, in the film industry, there's a lot of like prejudice against women who are curvier. It's getting better over the years, but normally it's like, you're too fat for this role. So when they're like, you're too skinny for this role, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what kind of like twisted shit is this that I've like traveled all the way up here, and I'm like so excited to my big break, my next big break, only to be like sent packing. And then actually when I watched it when it came out, they actually cut that storyline, because I was thinking as well, like, BBC having a storyline like that as well, because they didn't tell me they thought it was going to be Pearl Mackie's love interest. They didn't tell me like Pearl Mackie's fat love interest that she accidentally fattens up. Like, I wouldn't have been up for that anyway. But yeah, obviously they didn't give you the script till you got there, so yeah, it was a whole shit show in itself. But I did watch it thinking, and the worst thing is they still shot it, but one of the runners called their friend and was like, hi, and we have this role that we need to fill. Would you mind like coming up and playing this character? So they'd said to all the crew, like, has anyone of you got like a fat but pretty friend you can ring? And I was like, that's not BBC that we all know and talk about.
That's
but
not good.
At some point looked at the script when they got to this, edit or whatever, and went, that's not very nice. Maybe we won't run that storyline. And now you can see a girl walk up with a tray, Pearl puts some chips on her tray, and she walks off. And that is the role that I was supposed to play that they cut out because they realised it was fucking toxic.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can say to people, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Fuck those guys in the asshole, is all I can say about that. Like,
no lube.
Couldn't they have changed the role just to be like still Pearl Mackie's love interest, but like drop the fat chips joke? But I don't know. It wasn't meant to be. I'm holding out that there's a bigger role for me in Doctor Who someday, and I love them. So if you hear this, don't be mad at me. But I do think it's important that we talk about these things and the mistakes that companies make, even if it's not really, at the time things were a bit different. But I do think we shouldn't put them on the pedestal and say, I'm never going to say that they did that, because if I do, they might not hire me. I think that we can say they made a mistake, it wasn't great, but hopefully they've learned from that and they'll do better in future, and hopefully I'll still get to work with them at some point on it, because I still a big Doctor Who fan, although I don't really watch it anymore. It was like the David Tennant years. I go back and watch like the spinning Christmas tree episode with Billy Piper.
I'm intrigued on the new one. I'm going to give it a watch.
Yes, no, definitely. I will give it a watch. But
I'm intrigued.
There was something about the old writing that was really creepy as well, like the weeping angels and stuff that was like, really interesting and like psychologically. Maybe because I was younger as well, it was scarier. But
no, to be fair, the weeping angels are creepy as hell.
Yeah, and the gas masks. Mummy.
Are you my mummy?
Yeah.
So, in 2017, I believe it was, you decided acting is not enough for me, and you started Faithful Films. What led you to decide to start your own production company, start making your own films?
Well, I was getting all these love interest roles, and that's all well and good, but I mean, they're boring as fuck, aren't they? So I met with the director, and he was saying, I'd really love to make a film with you, but I don't have anything coming up that would work for you. And he said, there is this one thing, but I don't have time to produce it. I don't have time to make it at the moment. And it's on an aeroplane, and I probably can't get hold of an aeroplane. And this is just me all over. I was like, I could probably get hold of an aeroplane. I could probably produce, never having done it before. Like, why not? I just ran with it. I read the script. It's a little short film called In Flight. You can actually watch it on Amazon. It was really fun and kooky, and I basically self-taught myself how to do it. And my dad was in the aviation industry, so he was working for a company. So we were going to use the plane from his work, where they would have planes coming through that were being decommissioned. But that fell through at the last minute because they decided they wanted loads. The airfield themselves decided they wanted loads of money from us at the last minute. So I was like, okay, I can still find a plane like tenacious faith. And I found out that there was one that was used for the filming of Sully, the documentary, and they basically submerged it underwater for the filming, and now it's at Black Hanger Studios, so it's a bit ropey looking and it's not in perfect condition, but I managed to sweet talk them into lending it to us for like a few £100 for the day. And then I was like, so we're going to film this whole movie in a day on this aeroplane. And yeah, we managed to do that. So I thought, coming out of that, I was like, it was a joint Faithful Films production with the director's production company. And yeah, like, it was hard work. Like, Jesus Christ, I was up the night before making fucking pasta, because obviously we had like no money. So we had like loads of extras coming that needed feeding. So me and my sister were like cooking pasta. There's nothing weird with pasta that happens in the movie. So.
I was going to say, I was just like, what's that for?
Food a pasta bar. No, but it's all the when you have no money on a movie, it's all these small things that you don't realise that like take up so much time that someone has to do. And if you can't pay someone to do it, then you're just stuck in your kitchen at 3 a.m. making fucking pasta. Like, you just have to do what you have to do to get it done, you know? But it went really well and people really enjoyed it. And then after that, I was thinking, if I produce more movies that I want to be in, I have more control over the sort of roles I want to play. Although she was a love interest as well, but she was like a feisty love interest who was kind of like biting back at this like sleazy businessman that was hitting on her on the plane. And then she kind of turned into a little bit of a psychopath near the end, which is really fun. And it's like got this like, she's kind of a werewolf. So there's all these like werewolf jokes in it as well. So it was like, it wasn't just like, oh, look at me, aren't I pretty with my great tits? Yeah, let's go and fall in love, shall we? It's like the opposite of that. It's like, yeah, all right, you're like hitting on me and you won't leave me alone. Fine, I'm gonna like fuck with you and like put you in your place. So yeah, those kind of love interest roles interest me more.
I was looking at Faithful Films, and one that stood out to me, which I believe is one of your first films, The Whisperings.
Yes, yeah.
So you wrote it, you starred in it, you produced it, you shot it on land, sea, the sky, 6 different cameras, 2 drones, 2 underwater cameras, and you thought this would be one of your first projects. Was it Go Big, Go Home? What the hell?
Well, it was an accident, right? It was one of these stupid fucking accidents where I went to this film competition thinking I would be an actor in someone's film, and it was like I don't know, you had 2 weeks or something to make a movie. And so I went there and I had a team and we were all like excited and we were bouncing ideas around, and slowly, one by one, all my teammates started dropping out. And I was like, no, I want to make a movie. Like, I really want to do this. And so it ended up with just me and one other person left on the project. So I was like, well, fuck it. Let's just do it anyway. So yeah, it's actually kind of like a fantasy kind of thing about this girl who's a mermaid, and she, I don't know, it's kind of sounds lame when you talk about it now, but basically when you sit on the beach and you feel better, the reason that you feel better is because the rocks are taking on your feelings, essentially. So they're kind of taking away the pain and the suffering that you're feeling. But obviously the rocks can't do that infinitely. So the role of these kind of mermaid creatures is to come out and relieve the suffering of the rocks, and then they take the suffering into the sea and it kind of goes out into the water. So it was this like beautiful ethereal kind of fantasy thing where she's coming out on the rocks and she's kind of treating the rocks and stroking them. And then Sky sees her and he's like, what are you doing? Why are you stroking the rocks? You're a fucking weirdo. And then she gets offended. She's like, excuse me, this is my job. And like decides to drag him out to sea and drown him, as you do when men offend you. So she kind of lures him out to sea in this kind of like siren-like thing. And yeah, we shot underwater. We borrowed a local swimming pool. It actually looked really cool. We had like really dangerously just like little lights in lunchboxes floating on the surface of the water. I can't really hold my nose underwater very well, so I spent a week in the bath trying to learn how to hold the water undernose, which really pissed off the underwater photographer because I could only get underwater for about 30 seconds max at a time. None of this Avatar 7-minute bullshit. And I was very buoyant, and I didn't know at the time how to go down, and it was a very shallow pool. So I'd kind of get down and then very quickly come back up again. So it was very tricky. But yeah, we got through it. This was early days of drones as well, and I knew a guy who had a drone, and we shot like these sweeping shots across Brighton of like the West Pier, and we nearly got arrested because there was some kind of like royal visit the next day, and they thought that we had the drones because we were like trying to no, I don't want to say it out loud, but do some kind of terrorist attack, I guess. We were like, no, we got permission and everything. Like I'd insured it all properly. But yeah, that was adventurous. And also, newbie filmmaker Faith. Oh, if we're shooting nighttime, we shoot at night, right? Why don't we just go to Brighton Beach in November at like 10 o'clock at night? And I'll be half dressed and we'll just shoot on the beach, because then it will look like night and it'll be nighttime. That seems like a really reasonable thing to do until like 2 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, I was like doing things how I thought that things should be done in my own knowledge and capacity, and then bringing people around me who are willing to just kind of believe in me and just be like, why not? Let's see what happens. I even slept in my mermaid makeup because we had to do a shot the next day, and we couldn't get the makeup artist back again the next day. And it was like scales on my face, and we'd use fishnets, and you'd never get, well, you would get it in continuity if you were Avatar, but we couldn't. So I was like in my prosthetics asleep, trying to like not move. So it stayed on for the next day. But you know, like filmmaking is like the biggest buzz, and it's like almost like the more ridiculous and the harder it is, the bigger kick you get when you pull it off. And when you're early days, you don't understand what you're doing. Like you as in like you don't understand how hard and ridiculous what you're trying to do is. You're like, why not? Let's just do it. And then as you get further into the industry, you're like, wow, I probably wouldn't shoot a whole short film on an airplane in one day again, or I probably wouldn't shoot a mermaid film. It's like my first project, like managing all these things. And then everyone that I know is like credited, like my dad's credited as location manager on it because he was like driving us all around. And I think my mum was credited as costume alterations because she was like sewing up my dress. So when you read the credits, their surname's Downey. It's like Ian Downey, Heather Downey, Grace Downey. It's like, yeah, I really did get everyone I know to just kind of help.
That's amazing. I mean, that is dedication to the cause right there. When you're starting out, not, you know, with all that makeup on, not moving, going to Brighton Beach at 2 a.m. in not a lot is dedication to the cause. But so don't piss you off because you'll drown us. So to remember that. Yep. And also the terrorist attack thing with the Royals are attending. If it was Prince Andrew, he'd shit himself, but you wouldn't know. He doesn't perspire. So what can you say? I mean, I think that's ridiculous that they thought that, though, to be honest with you. I think they'll just kill Jamie. He'll be a minute. I think that's absolutely mental. That it's like, I know what you're here for. You're here for the Royals, aren't you? No.
Like sometimes people do things guerrilla where they just kind of don't really get the proper permissions and they hope for the best. But then you could be like, we'll just shoot on Brighton seafront on this day, and then you don't realise there's a marathon or something, or you know, just shoot at because it was the I-360 that they were visiting, and we were shooting at the West Pier, which is owned by a different company. So we had to notify the West Pier, but we didn't have to notify the I-360 because we weren't flying over the I-360. But then the I-360 were like, why do you? It was again in the days before drones were a really big thing as well. It was like, why do you have a drone flying when we have royals coming today? And we were like, no reason. Definitely just filming me walking across the beach, not like whoever you've got visiting. So yeah, luckily we got away with it though. So and especially on small indie films like this, things like that can kill your film. Like if you get arrested or if your drone gets confiscated or something, you know, that can kill a whole project and it can make a lot of people give up. So I think people that actually go on to make another film, you know, have got probably some pretty severe mental health issues to put themselves through that again after knowing what it's going to do to them the first time.
You can ruin your
Do you
production.
enjoy torture? Do you enjoy being miserable? Do you enjoy everything going wrong all the time? Yeah, I do, because then I get this movie.
Give me more. Give me more. More of it.
I was going to say, those things kind of ruin a project, or they could be great stories on podcasts in the future. So,
and Latest TV still screen it. They still screen the Whisperings every so often on their channel. So
that's amazing.
It's awesome. You studied screen combat at one point before starting your company with the British Action Academy, and completed the first phase and then didn't continue because you thought that the bruising and the whatnot would not get you roles in the future. Why? You should have carried on. You could have been kicking some serious ass at the same time as acting.
Well, the first thing is I still have pretty severe back issues, so I don't know what the fuck.
Oh, that's a good point.
Up in the first place, I was like, if I train in stunts and stuff, I'll be more hire. So they teach actors, you make yourself more hireable, get skills, do things. So I was like, oh, that'll be fun. And the first phase seemed pretty low key and pretty easy. So I was like, that'll be really good fun. And then when I turned up and I was getting these pretty heavy swords, like actually hitting you sometimes. And then I had all these massive bruises. And then I fell over a couple of times, like on the floor. And I was like, ow. And I was like, if you like skateboard and you like fall over and you think, ow, I'd like to go home, like skateboarding's probably not for you. Well, it was the same thing. I was like, no, this hurts. And one of the things they taught us as well was you are replaceable. So you have to make sure that you do everything in your power to stay as safe as possible, because if you get injured, they're just going to bring somebody else in to replace you tomorrow, because you can't tell who it is anyway. And I was like, oh, shit. I don't know if I want to be like doing some kind of skill that like makes me replaceable. Like, I'm like, I want to be the person that they bring in that they're like, no, this is the precious one that we can't injure. Not like, fuck it, she's hurt herself again. Oh, I'll get another one in. Like, that's not my vibe. Like, but yeah, I don't know what I was thinking with that. Like, it wasn't great, but I did meet some really awesome guys, and I met a lot of people that have gone on and they work on the stunt register now, and they get to be in really cool stuff like Wonder Woman and all this kind of stuff. And I'm really happy for them. And like, I do look at them and I think I was never going to be that person, like they went and did gymnastics and all this stuff. And I'm like, I could do it to like a very basic level, maybe. I mean, not gymnastics, fuck. But like, maybe I could do like something. I looked at this falling course. We have to like fall out a building. And I was like, maybe I could do like 1 or 2 falls. And I'm like, are you dumb? Like, then I went to like walk for a week afterwards because like my old back hurts. Like, yeah.
At least you tried it, I suppose. At least it's something, you complete the first phase. At least it's got that under you. Has it ever come in? Have you ever needed it?
I did actually do a couple of like things where I got hired as like, a girl with a gun and stuff afterwards. But not very. The thing is, like, all the actors are trying to be so versatile and they're trying to be everything, and they're like trying to be like, oh yeah, I can do this and I can ride a horse and I can do this. And I'm like very much the sort of person that's like, if you want a girl who can ride a horse, I know who you can hire. I don't need to do that. That's not me. I'm not trying to be everything to everyone. And yeah, I think that it's more important actually to work out what you are and what you're good at. And that doesn't mean that sometimes you might not want to do a bit of fun and learn how to be a fucking mermaid. But that doesn't mean that like you need to think that you need to be everything to everyone. So.
I like that. You don't need to be a jack of all trades. You can just be really fucking good at what you do.
Yeah, exactly. I really believe that. Like, I think if more people kind of focused on working out who they are and what they're good at and what their kind of route is, they would stop trying to spread themselves too thinly across lots of different things. And also they would stop feeling disappointed when they don't get, this particular role, because like that wasn't for you, because you're not the best person to play Tomb Raider type role, or whatever role it is. Like, you were never that person to do that. And then when a role comes along that you think, I am the person to do that, that's when you can like grab it by the horns and be like, no, this is what this is what I've trained for.
Absolutely, I get that. So talking about faithful films, obviously, How do you go about acquiring these films to make them? Because I know you write some of them yourself, but there are ones written by other people. Do people approach you, or do you go out hunting scripts? How does that process work?
I think it's a mixture. Like, I don't take scripts from random people who send them to me, although they keep sending them to me anyway. It's more
any great ones. Which ones have you had?
I don't open them. I don't read them. I'm not interested.
Oh,
it's a whole thing to sit down and read a script as well. And you get this thing where someone messages you like, "Hi, I need a producer. Here's my script." I'm like, that's like walking on a dating site and being like, "Hi, I'm a man. I need a woman.
Here's my dick."
Exactly. No, it's not. Oh, would you like it? No, let's get to know the whole
I
thing.
don't. I've never understood that. I've never, ever. I don't think anybody has ever attained a wife or a girlfriend by going, "Hi, nice to meet you. Here's my penis."
Yeah, it's shocking, really, isn't it? Like that.
I don't get it.
I think it's an ego thing, actually. I think people like the fact that they've shown it to someone and that they know that they've seen it. I think that's why they do it, but they're just deluded, disgusting individuals. Anyway.
Yep, agreed. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
Go from there to there. What just happened?
So all the projects I've worked on normally are people that I know that have said to me, "I'm trying to make this project. I need help in this particular way. Can you do it? Are you around to do it? Are you interested in doing it?" And they already have a relationship with me. So it's the relationship that comes first. And I kind of understand who you are and what you're trying to do. And then I can sort of see if I want to get on board, because any film you work on takes years of your life and it's really difficult and it's really stressful. So even if you got sent a really good script by someone, you've got no idea what the writer-director team is, or if you're doing all the work from the ground up. It's a huge amount to do. That the way that I prefer to do it is like, what am I getting out of it? Is it because I'm going to do an acting role in this thing? Is it because I'm going to learn a skill? Is it because it's really well paid and it's a short gig so I can just do it quickly and get out? You know, what is the situation, and how is it going to progress my career forwards? And is it in line? You know, the slate of films we have on Faithful Films is quite different. And I'm sort of more deciding now about making films that, obviously, since I started directing, it's more about what I'm really passionate, excited about, and what I'm trying to do with my career as a whole. But I do get asked to come on as producing on other projects as well. But it's very difficult, because it is like saying, would you like to give me 2 years of your life? And if you start going down the route with someone and then you're finding it really stressful, or you don't care about the project, then, you know, you don't want to be that person that is leaving them in the lurch. So you have to think about it, because it's all very exciting when someone says, "Do you want to work on my movie?" Yeah, let's go make a movie. How much work? How much am I getting paid? Like, you know, it's a whole thing. It's not like when you're acting and you can come in and do a couple of days on something and then leave, or even if you come in and do a large part of the project, you're still acting. It's a smaller responsibility than when you're producing. And everything I do, I want to do as good as I can, and I want to push the limits, and I don't want to be like, "Oh, this is within our skill set." I'm like, "So we're going to do this?" Like, this is within our budget, so we're going to do this? Like, that's what excites me, not like what is a normal, reasonable thing. Like, "Oh, we'll shoot a film in a cafe over a week." Like, oh, it's boring. Like, I don't want to do that.
Where's the airplane? Go.
Yeah, exactly. Like, where's like the really cool, crazy stuff that's like going to get my blood pumping, and then when we achieve it, it's going to be like really cool. So,
what do you prefer, just out of interest, acting or the behind the scenes thing? Because you seem to be loving both.
I do love both. Yeah, I think it depends on the project. I just want to do everything all the time. I think acting is a particular type of thing, but the thing is with acting is that there's so many people trying to get the roles, and it's such a big thing. Like, I'm not interested in doing tons of self-tapes. Like, the normal actor has to apply for lots of roles, spend a lot of time on Spotlight or with their agent or going into London. I mean, now we do more Zooms, but I'm not interested in wasting half my life casting for things that I'm probably not right for. I'm much more interested in when someone approaches me and says, "We've got something, we think it might work for you," that I then look at that, because then I'm maybe competing against 5 people, and the time I put in is more valuable. They say that, I don't know what they say, like 90% of the time actors are not working, they're just casting and like doing self-tapes and stuff. And I'm like, it's a waste of my life. Like, I don't want to learn lines and try and, you know, look into your product and look into your production company and look into what you're doing and all that kind of stuff, for then you to, like, you know, look at my picture and be like, nah, too tall, you know, because that's what it is a lot of the time. And since I've worked on the other side, I appreciate it as well, that you can have a vision in your mind. It doesn't mean that person's not good, but they're not the vision you have in your mind. So then they could have agonized over it and they get rejected, and then you feel shit afterwards. And it was never anything to do with you. It was just because you didn't fit exactly what they were looking for. So in terms of like having sort of agency and control over what I do, I prefer the sort of directing and producing side, because you can decide more about what's going on. Whereas when you're an actor, you're very vulnerable and you're kind of in their hands all the time. And the actors don't get to act often enough. Like, it's not fair. Like, even if you're doing like, you know, weekly rehearsals or something, or weekly classes, it's not the same as getting to go on set.
Is casting too specific sometimes, though? Can people be really overly specific about it for no fucking reason whatsoever?
Yeah, it's really strange, actually. Either end of the spectrum is weird. Like, we'll see everyone between the age of 20 and 60, every weight, every colour, every size, every this, every that. And then I think, okay, they don't know what they're doing. So that just feels like they're just like throwing out a net and just don't really know what they really want. But then sometimes it's very specific, and you kind of look at it and you think, why is it so specific? Because if it's specific for a reason, like they have to be 16 because they're at school, fine. Or if it's very specific, like they have to be very skinny because they're anorexic, fine. But a lot of the time I see a lot of it is like, you know, 18 to 25, blonde, under 5'7", size 6 to 8. That's like a very standard casting. And it's because they've got this image in their mind of like young, pretty, hot girl. And you're like, is that necessary for like a police officer, or is that necessary for like for this particular character? And it's often not. It's just like, you know, the director maybe has the idea in their head that, you know, for a long time all police officers were men, and, you know, all nurses were women, and it's taken a long time to be like, you can have a male nurse, and that's good. And also you can have a nurse that's older. Like, you don't have to have a nurse that's like 30. You can have a nurse that's just qualified, as long as it doesn't affect the storyline. But you can have a nurse that's been a nurse for a long time, and no, they haven't progressed to be a doctor, because being a nurse and being a doctor are different things. So not everyone wants to be a doctor, they want to be a nurse. So you can have a 60-year-old male nurse, and that is fine. And no, he doesn't need to be ripped with a six-pack because he's a nurse. Like, or maybe he gets to be ripped with a six-pack. You know, you don't always need mummy roles to be frumpy middle-aged women, but at the same time, we often don't get that unless the reason that the mummy role is a frumpy middle-aged woman is because her husband doesn't love her anymore because he thinks she's ugly. And I'm like, oh God, it's not, you know, there's still a lot of like stereotyping that goes on that's quite toxic. I think what's more hurtful is actually a lot of the time you can still be a very skinny, fit, attractive, whatever woman, and your partner can go off you anyway because it wasn't that caused the separation in your relationship. But we are seeing more diversity now on screen. It still takes a long time to filter through. Even with like female roles as well, there's a lot of diversity that's happening. But then I've been hearing that still some of the biggest studios are saying to friends of mine, you know, we don't really want too many women in this film. There's like, it is a strong female role, but we also need a male role who's strong as well, because it can't be too female led. And I'm like, but women will watch it, and that's 50% of the population. So, you know, these executives are all still very male dominated at the top. So they're thinking, I want to see tits and guns. And it's like, well, you know, it's a period drama about...
Because I can't say I've watched a TV series and gone, oh my God, they've cast that back incorrectly. It should be 37 and Iranian. What's this all about? I watch a TV show for stories. You want to be able to associate with the character or whatever, but I've never really looked at them and gone, oh my God, why is Benedict Cumberbatch not in this?
Yeah.
Because it's called The Midwife, Tom, that's why. Yeah, I don't give a shit. Why is Benedict Cumberbatch not in it?
There's this weird thing where they want you to know your audience and they want you to know your niche, but at the same time, the men with the money want it to appeal to everyone. And you can't be, Slipknot, who has a huge audience, and still appeal to Mozart fans by having a bit of Mozart in it.
Great.
Not to say you can't like both, but you don't go out there like, we're going to make sure that Slipknot is Mozart audience appropriate. That's not...
Oh my God, I want to hear that now.
Let it be what it is and let the people that like that come to it without shoehorning something else in to expand the audience. And let creators create. They're saying a lot of the films coming through at the moment don't feel as good, and you don't realise how much micromanaging is going on. So a great director gets given a big Disney project and you're like, yeah, they're going to do a great job. And then you watch it and you're like, oh, it's all right. And it's because they've been so micromanaged up to their eyeballs that they haven't been able to do what they wanted to do with it. And then everyone blames the director. And you're like, wow, was it not the 50 middlemen stood behind them that are on every single project that goes through the doors that went, we want more of this and more of this? And they were like, okay. It's still difficult to get the money and the creativity freedom at the same time.
Yeah, I can't imagine someone's there going, I enjoyed Pocahontas, not enough boobs for me.
Yeah.
That's not what the story's about. I don't care, Dave. I wanted more cleavage in that film. Why?
I'd be like, so I was really thinking we could have some, aeroplanes in this, but they didn't have aeroplanes. Yeah, but aeroplanes are very popular. Did you see the Top Gun movie? Everyone liked that. So could we put some aeroplanes in this? You're like, no, let it be its new own thing that's great. Yeah. What it's great for, not like Pocahontas. Oh, look at that great Airbus A360 flying over.
John Smith swoops down on the wing of a plane to save the day.
I really enjoyed Cinderella. Not enough Tom Cruise.
Yeah, exactly. Not enough Tom Cruise. He makes lots of money on movies. Why is Tom Cruise not in this movie?
Yeah.
We're
I'd love to get inside some of their heads and be like, I just want to know what you think. Why you think this is appropriate and why you need this.
I think it's because money in movies it's really hard to know what's going to sell. It's really hard to know. Let my dogs come say hello. It's really hard to hello.
There she is.
No licky faces.
Coco.
Yeah. You say hello. Yes, I know. Very
Coco. Just so low.
Mother, I'm excited.
Well, sit down then. Mummy's on a work call. Sit down. I think it's because you don't know what's going to make money, and everyone's so worried that the film's not going to make any money, and most films don't make money, and I think that's the problem. And so they're trying to guess what the thing is that's going to mean that they're going to make money, and they don't really know. And so they just try and do what you do in most businesses, which is, we look at the business model from what we did last time and we try and replicate that in order to have another successful product. But movies are art. They're not, something that you can manufacture and churn out again, no matter how many sequels of Fast and the Furious we're going to get.
Don't even.
That is a model that works for them maybe to do 10 now, but that's not a model that's going to work for everything. And yeah, it's difficult though, because a lot of movies do lose money, so you can't completely ignore the statistics on it, because if movies only lost money, we would struggle to make movies. So
absolutely, I think that's why indie cinema is a winner, because you haven't got studios going money. The director, the writer, they can have their vision, they can do what they want with it, and they don't have that big wig go, no, this needs Tom Cruise.
Yeah, exactly. But then it's very difficult to get money in indie cinema, and it's very difficult to make money in indie cinema as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, it means that creatively people can do better, but then they watch it and go, God, if I hadn't had to stay up all night making pasta for the crew, maybe we would have had a better movie. Or, you know, if we'd had a little bit more budget and we could have afforded like real special effects instead of some kind of Play-Doh stuck to his face, we would have made a more convincing Lincoln or whatever. But it's difficult, I think, both ends.
Yeah. Just need to find that middle ground somewhere in the ether, wherever the fuck it might be. Yeah. So the current project you're promoting, My Baby Cries, seems to be a real passion project of yours. What's the film about?
So the film is about a couple who are struggling to communicate, and spoiler alert, it basically, you think it's a story about postnatal depression because they've recently had a baby, and then later on it's revealed that the baby actually died, and the mother's been carrying around a doll that she's been seeking comfort from in order to process the grief of losing the child. And that comes from the fact that when I had my miscarriage, my daughter had this baby doll, and when I went for the scan, they said to me, "Oh, the baby has died," and I was like, "No, it hasn't." So I left and I carried this doll around for a week before I went for the second scan to find out if the baby had died or not, because you can tell if you take them a week apart for sure. And I got a lot of comfort from cuddling this doll, which was almost strange because I actually had a child who was like 2 or something as well. So it's not like I couldn't cuddle my child, but there was something about this little doll. It had a weight to it. And it was really quite emotionally moving. The fact that it wasn't a plasticky one. It was my child's doll, but it felt a lot like a baby. And the feeling that I got from carrying it around obviously gave me a lot of comfort. Then when I found out the baby had actually died, I found it very difficult to put the doll down, but I did. But it was almost symbolic as well of like, okay, the baby has died. I do need to like say goodbye and let that go. And the story follows Abe, the husband, as he's trying to console her and trying to almost say live a normal life, but trying to make her happy and do what he can to sort of help her while he knows that she's suffering with depression. But he also knows that she's been carrying around this doll and she's been hiding it from him. And he then hears from a friend at the park that they've seen her pushing the doll in the park, like pushing the pram in the park with the doll in it. So he realizes, you know, she's still struggling. And he comes home and tries to talk to her about it, and she doesn't want to talk to him about it. And then she goes upstairs upset, and he goes in the nursery and she's sat there cuddling the doll, and they have an argument basically where it all everything sort of spills out. It's quite a dark, sad film, but it talks to the sort of grief and the lost feeling, and it also talks to not demonizing either person and not saying that it's the father's fault or the mother's fault. It's just a difficult, stressful situation that they're both in, and neither of them really know how to handle it. And that was important, that we sort of didn't sort of say the dad has done something wrong, that it was actually just about, the two of them sort of working out what to do about the situation that they're in.
Fuck, that's so deep. But I think it's really important you tell stories like these, though. And that is one of the beauties of indie cinema, because there are people out there, like yourself, as you said, that are struggling. And, you know, for some people, to see it represented can help you go, I'm not alone. Other people go through this. This is not just me. I can get through this. They got through it. I can get through this. And it's comforting. And it's amazing that, you know, you've put your skill, your talent, and, you know, your own experiences into doing this. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I really do.
Oh, thank you. We've screened at a lot of festivals, and every festival we screen it at, people come up to me afterwards, and there's always so many people who have their own story, if it's themselves or if it's someone that they know that have been through something where they've lost a child. It's something that affects so many people, and yet we don't talk about it very much, and it's very rarely portrayed in cinema. If it is, it's not always done very well. And it's a difficult taboo subject. I mean, they're talking about how do we get people in cinemas and bums on seats and make money, and it's a hard sell to be like, so we're gonna make a movie about someone whose baby has died. Everyone's like, that sounds horrendous. Like, I don't want to go and sit and spend my Friday night doing that, watching that. But actually, the reality is that people do want those stories to be told, and they do want people to be brave enough to have those conversations, and it opens up conversations that people can have where they sometimes haven't spoken about it, or they felt like they couldn't talk about it, or they felt like they're quite alone in it. And what's interesting to me is that although I had my miscarriage when I was 21, the reason that we made the film was because my sister and my best friend both miscarried in the same week, and it was so traumatizing, and the same feelings that I had 10 years before they were having, and the same grief and difficulties with knowing what to say and difficulties knowing how to handle it were being mirrored 10 years later. It wasn't that we'd really progressed as a society, that we'd really learned a lot, that we talked about it a lot. I just realized how common it was as well. And I just thought, like, it's a difficult thing to do, but it's a really, really important thing to do. And I don't want us in another 10 years to be in a similar situation again where nothing has really progressed. And unfortunately, babies are always going to die. It's one of the greatest tragedies that can happen. But hopefully we can learn as a society to talk about it more, that we can lift some of the taboos, and that we can find a connection in that grief that will get stronger over the years, the more that we're able to sort of deal with the trauma of it and talk about the trauma of it. Yeah, it's a heavy film, but I think it's a necessary film.
Absolutely. And it seems to be winning awards at all these different festivals. Yeah. Is there plans for a wider release?
Yeah, so I want to. So once the festival run is finished, which is really soon, then we're going to release it publicly. I'm looking at the different VOD channels as to where we're going to put it, but I want it to be accessible to wide audiences without it costing loads of money, because it was never a film that was meant to make money as such. So I'm not interested so much in paywalling it and protecting it like that. I'm much more interested in being able to put it on platforms where people can reach it, and where hopefully people can watch it, and it can make a difference. So we're working with Mama Academy, who are a miscarriage charity, miscarriage and baby loss charity, that's run by parents who've mostly had stillborn children. And we hope to put it out on their platforms as well, and sort of just kind of reach those places with it. And then my plan is to make, I've got another film that I'm planning to make called Bunny, which explores similar themes and it explores similar story, but hopefully with a slightly more commercial side to it, so that we can give it the voice and put it on a platform in a way that means that we can reach more people. And that's going to be exploring the mechanics and the bit that films often skip as well, where if you've seen a film where they talk about baby loss, which there's only a handful of them, but they find out the baby has died, and then we skip to 6 months later. That's always the thing. It's like 6 months later, we then skip to how has it affected them. Now they're an alcoholic, having an affair, whatever. But the hardest days when you have a miscarriage or lose a baby like that are the days immediately after, and the mechanics of dealing with it, because nobody really talks about the physical side of what you have to go through, and the the telling people that don't know yet, and you still have a bump and you have to talk to people in the street who ask you how far gone you are, and you're like, wow, my baby's actually dead. So it's like all of that kind of stuff that we want to explore in that film, that hopefully we can also bring in some terminology that helps people learn how to talk to people when this happens, and also kind of shows you like very well-meaning people say things like, oh, I'm sure you can try again. And you're like, oh, great. Like, that doesn't make it better. But if we put that on screen and people watch that, hopefully then they'll watch that and think that was a dumb thing to say. And hopefully then, people will learn from that and think, I won't say that if that happens to someone that I know. So that's kind of the plan with the journey of My Baby Cries, because My Baby Cries is it's very dark and it's very sad, and it intentionally doesn't have a resolution. It doesn't have they lived happily ever after, they had another baby, anything like that. It is just very singular in its message. But when we hopefully do Lost Bunny, then we hope to explore more of those kinds of things.
I think it's amazing, and it's really amicable that you're willing to do this to help people, and to help, at the end of the day, help strangers. You don't know these people, and you're willing to put yourself out there, and your time and your effort to help them is absolutely mind blowing. If I had a hat, I'd tip it. It's. Oh, thank you, sir. But this isn't the first thing you've done to help other people. As I mentioned in the beginning, you've got your Yes She Can campaign.
Yeah.
What is the campaign?
So it sort of came. So I was going to Cannes Film Festival, as you do. And I absolutely love it. I think it's an amazing place where people can meet and connect and widen their networks. They can learn so much. Obviously, I got to watch the BFG with Steven Spielberg, and I was on the front row, and he was 5 rows behind me, and I was like, this is cinema. We're in a 2,000 person cinema screen watching the real world premiere. So it's like magical and beautiful and amazing and all these things. But off the back of the Me Too movement, a lot of stories were coming out about bad things that were happening at Cannes. And there was a lot of bad things that are happening. And there are still sadly bad things that happen at the festival. But the amount of press around it had people that I know saying to me, don't you think you shouldn't go to the festival because it's dangerous? Or don't you think that women need to avoid the festival? And it was as a result of something that we really needed to talk about the difficult things and to stop the bad things that were happening. There was so much negative press around the festival that women didn't want to go. And there was a negative vibe around women wanting to attend. And I was like, oh, that's not what we need, like less women at the festival because of this. So I started it to basically encourage more women to attend, and then also to show people the type of women who are attending so that they can hopefully see themselves or see a future themselves in those people, so that they think it's not just about A-list Hollywood actors attending, but this sales agent or this producer or so-and-so is there. And that hopefully that encourages them to attend as well, because they can see more relatable role models and more relatable, inspiring figures that are attending. And then also we sort of promote women who are attending as well. So we run our She Squad on Instagram and social media, Twitter and Facebook, which basically ahead of the festival sort of shows a little snippet of people who are attending. And again, they can then connect beforehand if they want. Or it gives the people who are attending themselves an opportunity to boast a little bit, to say, look, here's my little profile, I'm going to Cannes. And it gives them permission to celebrate themselves and to have other people, look at their achievements. Because sometimes women don't talk very much about their own achievements and they feel a bit awkward about it. Even like people that I know that will send me their bio, I'm like, I didn't know this. But they're like, oh yeah, I know, it's just this thing I did. But they don't even feel that comfortable to like shout about their achievements. So it means that we've got an opportunity for people to connect, and for people to talk more about sort of who's attending. And then we do we've done like conferences and like a magazine that's like a how-to guide to Cannes, which is very practical, and it sort of tells people like where to go, where to drink, where to eat, sort of the mistakes to avoid, things to pack, all the kind of stuff that you want to know when you're going on a trip like this. And that is for men and for women. It's not just aimed at women, but so that people feel less alone and they feel less like out of their depth, and all the barriers that stop you from doing something like going to Cannes can hopefully be broken down bit by bit. And hopefully the barriers that people have about their hesitancies about going, they then feel like they're part of something, like part of the She Squad. So then they meet on the street and they're like, oh, I'm doing this, you know, I'm part of the She Squad, and then someone else is as well. And then they find common ground to connect with. We have these little badges that we give out and everyone wears them on their lanyards. And the Croisette is like normally full of people wearing the badges, and men wear them as well. And the reason the men wear them is to show their support, to say, I'm supporting the women who are at Cannes and I want to help and I want to show that I'm on your side. So it gives them an opportunity, because a lot of men are crying out for ways in how they can vocally show their support of women as well. So it means that they've got an opportunity to have that. And it's a conversation starter for them as well. So then they can sort of start thinking actively about how they can involve more women in their projects and involve more equality. And then also we're doing like a party list and events list of interesting events that are like conferences and things that where women are speaking, or films that women are showing. So again, there's like a place they can look where they can kind of see female focused things that they want to go to. And again, men who might want to attend as well, because a lot of the female events they let men come to as well. It's not only for women, but it's meant to be a place where we have a moment to think about how we can involve more women in the festival. So then they can see that and be like, I would like to go and support the Africa in Women event that is happening, and I want to know how I can encourage and support more people, you know, in that particular area, and I want to learn how I can be better as well. So it's kind
you
of
are a true inspiration, aren't you? You're a true pioneer. Massive. It's incredible. No, it's absolutely really amazing. And it definitely needs to be a thing. Absolutely. Because the whole Me Too thing that's come out was just shocking. And it, you know, as a guy, I was actually quite embarrassed. Like I can't believe this shit still fucking happens. And it's now 2023. You're still getting stories every now and again. You're like, why? Why are people dicks? Like, just stop. Just stop being a prick. There's no need for it. There's no need for it now. Like, we all need to stand together as one, be kind to each other and fucking support each other. Because, so it's massive, like big up massively, because that's incredible what you do.
I don't feel like it's incredible. I feel like it's like something that I see as a need that needs helping, and there are tangible ways I can do something. So I feel grateful that I'm able to do that. And I know personally a lot of women who've attended the festival because of us, and that makes me so happy that I can see that they've gone and I can see what they've got out of it. And like that makes me feel like it's for me almost, because I'm like, look at that awesome woman going and doing that thing because we were able to help her. So I feel like it's a blessing that I've got the opportunity to be able to do something like that. Not everyone is able to, or has time, or, you know, has the resources. So I feel it's like a responsibility as well to like use what I can, because it's easy to preach at other people, isn't it? Like, you go use your, you know, why don't you put someone in your magazine or in your podcast and you know, you do something. But it's like, okay, great, you can tell people to do something, but what are you doing? Like, what am I doing? So it's something I can do. And there's lots of people that do amazing things as well, like the Female Film Club are there this year. And they obviously have a whole film club about women in film, and then there's Women in Film TV, and there's loads of different organisations doing things. But we can hopefully like tap into something that's not being done within that, and then support all of those within that. And I hope that other people can also look at what they're doing and say, how can I also support in some small way? Because if everyone does a small thing to support in some small way, imagine the difference. I mean, look at what happened with straws, for God's sake. That was one piece of plastic that they were like, straws, we're going to get rid of all straws and we're going to have floppy, soggy straws instead. But I'm not saying that was a great thing for the world, is like in terms of beverages, but in terms of like plastic, it seems to be going well. But that's like one little thing. So,
Fantastic.
But like you said, there's so many people that notice these things, but don't do anything about it. And the fact you are is another reason why we tip the hat, because it's phenomenal that you're doing this, and the fact you recognise it needs doing. So instead of going, needs doing, innit? Shame. You're actually going, no, I'm going to fucking do it then. And it's brilliant. Like I said, I tip my hat. Tom's going to tip it twice for me and him. No, it's absolutely phenomenal. But before we let you get out of here, what are you working on at the moment? Anything coming up? I saw you on Twitter, you're wearing your mermaid tail again.
I am, yes. So the next project I'm doing is like a bit different from what we've done already. It's a dark fantasy about mermaids in Italy, and I am playing a mermaid in the movie, and I'm writing it and directing it and producing it. Well, we'll be getting some help with all of those things as well. But yeah, so it's a dark fantasy about a girl who is crippled by a mysterious illness, and it's kind of showing similar symptoms to the things that I've been through physically. And she has to go to Italy to find her birth parents to find out what's wrong with her and why she's losing the use of her legs. And obviously when she gets to Italy, she discovers that the town is a mermaid murdering cult that kill mermaids and drink their blood, as you do. And then she also discovers that she is a mermaid herself, but she's a cursed mermaid. So she doesn't have a tail and she doesn't know quite what's wrong with her. But she has to find out what's wrong with her and then ultimately save the town from their evil master before everybody's lives goes to shit. So, yeah.
I feel like this is your way of saying these back problems I had. It'd be a real good payoff if I was a mermaid at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of things that I relate to her with, like Asrai is the main character in the title of the film, and I feel like there's a lot of things that I relate to her with in that sense, but it's meant to be like Pan's Labyrinth kind of dark fantasy, beautiful etherealness, but with like mermaids in Italy and like the beautiful kind of sea and that kind of thing. So it's very dark. It's not for Little Mermaid fans necessarily. But it's ultimately it's all about love and abandonment and rejection and feeling unwanted and feeling lost in society and all those heavy, rich, traumatizing, exciting things, all wrapped up in this like horror fantasy kind of thing. So it's a very ambitious project to be taking on, especially at the indie film level where we don't have 100 million quid or whatever like some of the bigger studios do. But I think it's going to have that like authentic, gritty indie feel to it, while also hopefully having really cool mermaid clans and really kind of exciting but interesting, dark, grittiness to it. Like everyone is neither bad nor good in this movie. We don't play into the whole villain goody kind of vibes. It's all about everybody does good and bad things, and everybody thinks that what they're doing is what's best, and everybody is really traumatized and really fucked up in their own different ways. So
phenomenal. That sounds incredible. Mr. Stevens, do you have any more questions for our incredible guest?
I do. I know I've been here a while, so I'll be quick. Did you ever think that when you first started out, playing Scar in The Lion King with your friends to raise money for the WWF, that you would be here today doing indie movies, directing, producing, acting, and have your own phenomenal Yes You Can charity?
No, I didn't, honestly. I feel very blessed that this has become what my life is, because obviously at one point I was like lying in the road trying to get hit by a car, and then years later this is what life has become, so I think it's like you never really know what's going to happen and what direction your life is really going to go in. And obviously I used to dream of winning Oscars, and I used to say that I want 3 Oscars, because the first one, it could have been a fluke. And the second one, still not sure. But by the third one, you're like, no, yeah, they definitely meant to give you that Oscar by the time you've got. So I've always had very high aspirations for my career. I wasn't like, oh, maybe I'll do a bit of theatre and I'll just muddle along. I was like, yeah. So I'm like, 10 years old and I'm drawing pictures of my Oscars. Like, yeah, that's the plan. So we're working on the way there, maybe, if the Academy like me. But it's incredible, like, when you take a step back, because when you're in it, it's your life and it's your world, and you're just walking your dog and taking your kid to school and doing the washing up, and then in between you get these mad moments of film screenings and craziness in between. But my life feels normal, like everyday life, like everybody else's. But when you kind of step back and you're like, oh yeah, that is kind of cool that, like, we've achieved so much and it's only getting better. It's only on an upward spiral at the moment. So
incredible. You are absolutely amazing. Before we let you go, any plugs, social medias you want people to go check out?
So I'm on Instagram at Little Faith, Lilfaif. I don't really know where it came from, but it's stuck. But if you put Faith Elizabeth, you'll find me. Twitter, I'm one Faith Elizabeth, the number 1. Again, I don't know why, because this is not what you're meant to do. You're meant to have the same handle across everything. AsraiFilm.com is going to be up in the next few days. So if anyone wants to check that out and see what we're doing with that, that would be really cool. We're going to be raising money and selling a little bit of merchandise and stuff to get the ball rolling on that project. And I know money's tight and it's difficult right now, but if you want a t-shirt with my face on it as a mermaid or whatever, then maybe that floats your boat. I don't know. But yeah, just check out what we're doing. And if you're going to Cannes or thinking about going to Cannes, go to yesshecan.com, reach out and let me know if you're interested, or if you want any advice or anything, or if you are going and you want to join the She Squad, or you want to attend anything that we're doing. So.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you so much for taking your Monday evening out to sit and chat to us. I've really, really enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
It's been fun. Thank you for having me. It's been really good.
No, I really appreciate it. It's been amazing.
Fab. All right.
Take care of yourself. See you soon. See
Take
you
care.
later. Bye-bye.
Bye, Faith.
Bye.
What an incredible conversation. This is what I say with this show. If you've never even heard of the guest, listen to it, because we have them on this show because their stories are absolutely incredible to listen to. And this is a shining example of why you should always listen, because, yeah, this is beautiful. And please go out there, support Faith and everything she's doing. I cannot wait to see these movies she's working on in a minute. They sound absolutely amazing. And yeah, again, like I said earlier, just a massive thank you to Faith for putting that trust in us.
My second, Jamie. Faith, thank you so much for taking time out of your very, very busy schedule to sit and chat with us. It was absolutely incredible. And we hope that you all enjoy listening to it as much as we did recording it.
It's about getting into schools and talking to young people, because, you know, I know that people can change. And it's about talking to people and getting them to understand and perhaps step back from violence and prejudice and whatever. And we just need to work together and keep on the good fight there.
Absolutely. Hey there, guys. We are ecstatically happy to announce that we are associated with the Sophie Lancaster Foundation.
The times are changing, and with the unfortunate death of Sophie, those changes have made a massive impact for the future. If Sophie was with us still today, I can guarantee what you are doing will still be reaching so many lives of young teenagers, young adults, and those who wish to be as different as possible. So thank you very much.
To find out more about this incredible foundation and all the work they do, and more importantly, how you can help, head on over to www.sophielancasterfoundation.com. Mr. Stevens.
Me.
It's audience participation time.
Participate, bitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to participate in Jamie's participation challenge.
Wiki, wow.
I have no idea what these intros are becoming anymore. Anyway, no matter what our ages, deep down, we're all a little immature and dirty-minded. So with that in mind, what 3 things you could buy in the store to make a cashier feel a little bit uncomfortable? What say you, Mr. Stevens?
A dildo.
Good answer.
A salmon. And grapes. Or just 3 dildos.
3 dildos.
We don't sell these here in Asda. Yeah, I know. Who said I was buying them? Which one do you want? Excuse the liquid. They are used. That's why I said to 20 quid, mate. Welcome to Tom's Dildo Emporium.
You've made me feel uncomfortable, let alone a cashier.
This one I use myself.
Why I walked
this
the
is
limp when I came in here.
This is fresh. This is recycled. This is recycled.
I pulled this out as I walked up to the till.
My brother made a really good point, right? Sorry, just to briefly just tangent off. My brother used to be a stand-up comic. He was training to be one. And he made an amazing joke about recycled toilet paper. He went, could you imagine somebody at the end of a production line just going, wiping their ass, be like, yeah, it's all right, mate. That'll do. That'll go in. Sorry.
Oh, let's get some answers. Stephen Phillips. Gun. Bullets. Pineapple.
Jamie, just quickly, what's your answers?
Do you know what? I did my usual thing, but I didn't even think of an answer myself, I was too busy just collecting everyone else's answers.
It's the whole point of going on the spot, my friend. This is the whole point.
No.
Come on.
Oh, on the spot. What are we going to say? If we're going into a supermarket, I'm going to say, I do like your whole salmon answer, I'm not going to lie, but you've had that one. I'm going to say, pineapple. Pineapple. Lubrication, bottle of wine. I'll do. Just those.
Maybe they're like, have you ever fucked a fish before, mate? Because I have.
The fish entered me. Anyway.
I don't know if it's going like this bottle up his ass. You're not going to drink that? Yes, with the fish's mouth.
Oh, God.
I'm going to lube my nipples. Sorry, Callum.
Becky Westwood says, a ball gag, rope, and pliers. I don't know where she's shopping.
I don't need to know about your private life, mate. Thank you very much. All right. I thought that's your birthday, that is. Oh, sorry, I ruined it. Shit, sorry.
That was supposed to be a surprise.
The pliers are attached to a fucking car battery, and that's for the nips. Sorry. Go.
I just like the sound effects. Nina Hewitson, a marrow, Vaseline, condoms. Yeah, that's
amazing. Yeah, that'd be. I'd love it if they just got the end of the thing, start taking them out and put them over, and being like, "Oh, was I not supposed to do the show here? Oh, sorry. That's
Would you like any help? You're packing. I'm good, thank you.
I thought they wanted me to do the show here. Sorry about
that. Gary Harvey, polythene, duct tape, rope.
What's polythene again?
Like cling film.
Okay. So my brain just went somewhere else. I don't know where. I was thinking of that shitty stuff you get, in packaging. It's just that white shit that goes everywhere.
Packing peanuts.
Yeah. No, the actual really long.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, that you can't recycle or destroy. And if you break it apart, you get little tiny fluffy balls just everywhere. Sorry.
Everywhere. Stacey Marriott. I don't know what she's getting at with this one, and it kind of concerns me. Pills, vodka, knife.
Is she okay? Have you checked in on her?
I'm going to have to check in on her, I think. Rosie Rowland, she gives an answer quite similar to Nina's. Butternut squash, Vaseline, strong pain relief.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're going to need some after, I think.
I've always, surely that can't be pleasant. The girth on that, I cannot imagine that being nice.
No, I'd imagine.
Do you know what I mean? Because sure, there's only so much room. So, right? You don't get, obviously, you get people with big penises. You don't get massive vaginas, do you? Because that.
The deep, darkness of the internet, I've no doubt it's somewhere. Let's just say that.
Yeah, probably. Someone having to hold their dick to like shove it in. Like, sorry.
Grey and white. Funnel. Rope. Laxatives.
What are you pulling out?
What are you putting in to someone?
And if you're funneling, which way around are you going to have that? Because otherwise it's going to come out into the big part, but through the smaller bit, or through the small bit, you've got no chance of doing the upside down way. That's really interesting. I'm really intrigued as to why rope, though.
Because it's not happening again with someone willing participant. That's my guess.
Okay.
The cashier is uncomfortable. Paulie Dobson, a filleting knife, KY jelly, and super glue. What the fuck is going on there?
What are you lubricating inside of yourself? Or is that to put the pills inside you? I don't fucking know. These are interesting. If you were the cashier, right, would you ask the question or no? Would you just keep on going?
I think I'd want to, because you just want to know that. I'm sure I've made some jokes before when I used to work on the tills. Like when some people have brought something together, I've been like, oh.
Did you ever feel weird buying condoms?
No.
Okay, that's definitely yeah, but I don't want to talk about it.
No, I was trying to think it's been a fucking long time since I've needed to buy them, but I don't remember ever feeling uncomfortable.
I know you don't need them now, but like, I was trying to think back. I definitely didn't feel weird.
Why would I? Promoting the fact of getting laid, and
I'd love it. I bet it's got to have happened at some stage. If a guy's buying condoms, as the guy standing through goes, can I join in?
Extra large. Go on, Dave. Give her one for me, son. Why do people say that?
Also, extra large. Fuck off. Like, Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah, I need like king size. Do you really? Do you fucking really? I bet they're queen.
I've stretched one of those normal ones over my head before. You don't need extra large, for fuck's sake.
Jimmy, I mean, I've heard of fisting, but this is a whole new fucking level. Why?
That book just prattling around being idiots. Stretch out, put it on top of your head, just over your nose, and then you go, and then blows up like a unicorn horn.
Do you know, sometimes, right?
You're asking questions.
I really wonder why I do the show with you.
I was young, all right?
I don't give a fuck if you were young or not. Have I just had like a really shit childhood and not had any fun?
To be fair, I don't think not putting a condom on your head means you've had a shit childhood. It's fine.
God, I'm going to give you a head, but not that one.
Make way, I'm coming. I'm the juggernaut. No,
might as well climb inside.
Oh. Let's go a few more. Beth Adair, rope, duct tape, pliers. I feel sorry for anyone that's going home with Beth.
Dungeon.
Martin Skerritt, this one really made me laugh. A cucumber, KY jelly, and an electric toothbrush purchased while sporting a very menacing grin. I love the added details though.
Love it.
I'll give you two more. Joe Smith. Me and my sister used to go to Tesco, pick up things like top shelf magazines, and put them in elderly folks' trolleys and watch them pay for it. One old lady had a cucumber and lube. A gentleman in his 90s had a dirty mags, condom, and lube. I'm fully aware I'm going to go to hell for doing this.
The thing is, though, if you're that age, why did you keep going? Why did you... They're probably like, oh, God, I forgot about these. I needed these.
It's either they didn't notice or they're too embarrassed to just go, I didn't pick these up. Why are they in here? Let's just pay for them and get out of here, Doreen. Come on, let's go.
You're evil, Smith. You are evil.
She's very evil. And last but not least, it's our good friend Mally Malpass. Matt Hancock's autobiography, a box of Ferrero Rocher, and a can of WD-40.
I mean, I just question the book by itself. Forget the fucking rest of it.
That's what I'll be mostly questioning. Yeah, the book. Why would you want to read this? Come on.
Oh, we love it though. Thank you to absolutely everybody that participates in Jamie's Participation Challenge every single week. We appreciate every single one of you. And if you enjoy Jamie's Participation Challenge, Tom's Journal, Callum's Treachings, the show, and the wonderful interview that we have on the weekly basis, then you can find the other 87 editions of the Chronicles of Podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. Whether that be Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, Audible, Amazon. You can find us absolutely anywhere. Just get out there and go and find him. I don't know what Jamie's doing. Just ignore him, guys and girls. Just ignore him. We're also on the old YouTube at the Chronicles of Podcast, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to get notified as soon as new videos are released, and comment. We would massively appreciate it. You can find on YouTube all of our interviews are on there. All of our shows are on there from episode 22, we're 22nd edition. All of our hashtag WBW Wayback Wednesdays are on there from our old channel. All of our Bloodstock Live interviews are on there. Our Bloodstock Sophie Lancaster Foundation vlog is on there. And our Dublin Cross vlog is on there as well. Hopefully, we'll be having some brand new news to bring you in the next couple of weeks, fingers crossed, to be adding more wonderful things to the channel. You can also find us on Facebook at the Chronicles of Podcast. Make sure you like it. Make sure you share it. Make sure you tell absolutely everybody about it. And Jamie, where else could you find us?
Head on over to www.faithfulfilms.com and find out all the wonderful projects that our glorious guest Faith Elizabeth is involved in.
Absolutely. Or on the Twitter at TCO Pod. And whilst you're on www.faithfulfilms.com learning all about Faith Elizabeth and on our Twitter, where else could you find us?
Just sitting there giggling to yourself over the idea of tropical goths, because I know that's what I'm going to be doing for the next 2.5 weeks, probably.
Yeah. Or on our Instagram at TCO Pod. You can find us on the Chronicles of you can find us on LinkedIn at the Chronicles of Podcast. Make sure you connect with us on there. You can find us on TikTok at TCO Pod. Make sure you go and watch the Joe Gash video and Jamie's Chesney Hawks video, because that will still always get me just the way he celebrates. You can also come to our beautifully brand spankingly sexy and wonderful little website at www.thechroniclesofpodcast.com. You can find out all about us are on there. All of our affiliations and sponsors are on there. All of our episodes are on there. And our lovely little shop where you can buy yourself some TCO Pod merch. So make sure you follow us on, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on all of our socials. And now, a word from Jamie Westwood.
Look, I'm one of our sponsors every time you say that. Before we get out of here, let's say a thank you to a few of our friends. First off, every single piece of music you hear on this show is brought to you by one man. And that Uno hombre. And that man is singer-songwriter Matt Roberts. We can't thank Matt enough for all of his fantastic music that he gives to us. It means the absolute world, sir. But go check out Matt on all the social medias at Matt Roberts Music. Go check out his latest album, Light of Day, on Spotify. And go follow him on Spotify. Go follow him on YouTube. Go do all those wonderful social media bits and send him all of your love. And of course, we have to say thank you to Mr. Braden Barry and his Stay Cozy Clothing. Head on over to www.staycozyclothing.com or download the smartphone app. Have a look at what they've got there. There's some wonderful T-shirts. There's some wonderful hoodies. There's some wonderful hats. Look at those beautiful items of clothing that Tom's modelling for you right there. If you see anything you like, put them into your basket. Add that discount code, The Chronicles, at checkout and get yourself 10% off your order. And of course, don't forget to check out the latest drop. Some beautiful new hoodies and those mugs. Those mugs are glorious. You need them all. And last but not least, we have to say a massive thank you to the Sophie Lancaster Foundation. They are stamping out prejudice, hatred, and intolerance everywhere. We cannot be proud enough to say that we are ambassadors for this fantastic charity. It means the absolute world that you let us fly that flag every single week. This is a charity that means the absolute world to me and Tom, if you hadn't already gathered. But It's 2023. Why are we still letting people be judged and treated differently because of the clothing they wear, their music they listen to, and just wanting to live their life? It is approaching festival season. And what you are going to find is fields and fields of people that live their life how they want to. When there's that many people, surely it's not a minority anymore, people. So how about we get with the times and we treat people exactly how they deserve to be treated, like human beings. So please head on over to www.sophielancasterfoundation.com. Find out what you can do to bring an end to this. And while you're there, head on over to the store. There are some fantastic items on there. New hoodies, new t-shirts. They've dropped a new hoodie and a new beanie hat the other day that look absolutely beautiful, and I need to get my hands on them. So please head on over there, support the charity in any way you can, and we can't wait to see you all festival season. And last but not least, a massive thank you to this handsome devil sat right there.
And a massive thank you to Jamie. I concur. A massive thank you again to Faith. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Like I said, I hope you're living it up in Ibiza and having the best time ever while you're out there. And thank you so much for being an absolutely wonderful guest on our show. Jamie, another absolutely unbelievable episode, sir.
Oh, yes, indeed. 88.
It's going to be great. And as for this week, we're going to see you all next week for the Chronicles of Alan Hudson.
Goodbye, everybody. Bye.